What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It's me, Kaga. Welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, then welcome to you. I am here for a different video of sorts. What I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to be reacting to a tier list video made by another YouTuber, my good friend Donker Dank, aka Mike. If you guys have been around the streams, you know who he is. He's usually in there pretty often. Mike and I have been friends since college. He lived in the building that I RA'd in my second year, and then we kind of just delved into a friendship from there. A while ago, probably almost a year ago, he made this tier list video and he asked me to react to it for my channel and to kind of just give my general thoughts on where he placed everything. Spoiler alert, I planned to and didn't, because that was when I was in my whole I need a break hiatus kind of thing. And because of that, I never reacted to the video. I'm not gonna lie, I have seen it, so I know where he places stuff, but I haven't fully reacted and let the things he said sunk in. And I thought that could be a fun video to do, especially because we talked about doing this so long ago. And he thought it'd be funny to even do a reaction to my reaction and see how that goes. So here we go. I'm actually gonna react to it. I'm sorry it took 9 months after Mike asked me to do this to actually get around to it, but we're finally here to do it. And my boy's got some pretty strong opinions, and I think that is gonna be interesting to see how I think about them and stuff. Also, check out Mike's channel. Like, please do. The man's almost at 1,000 subscribers, and if everybody watching this right now went ahead and subscribed, he'd be just about there. The dude makes a lot of really awesome, cool PC gaming content around like Star Wars, Batman games, all cool kinds of stuff like that. He's a big Lego fanatic, so if you're interested in that, I recommend it. And he's been doing a Star Wars retrospective series on his channel. I highly recommend you check him out. He's a really cool, funny guy. I think you'll love his personality a lot. With that all being said, let's go ahead and get right into my boy's video.
Hello everyone, what's going on? My name is Donker Dank, and today I will be ranking the main Pokemon games by strictly my opinion. And I'm throwing out there that...
Also, I just want to say, he's got a tier of games he has not played yet. So that's Colosseum, XD, and Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. Mike, I want you to play Colosseum and XD so bad. I think you'd have a lot of fun with it. I think that'd be super fun. I really think you should try them out. Highly recommend them both.
That is solely my opinion, because
True.
I know how strongly certain people feel about this franchise.
Very true.
Know that I did not grow up with these games. I actually got into Pokemon in college, just after the release of Pokemon Go. So please understand that this is... I'm not trying to troll, I'm not...
These are really his opinions, and like I know like it's gonna be a little bit interesting seeing where he places certain things, and yes, other people might not agree with what he does and where he places things. That being said, I'm gonna do my best not to like hate on anything he says. Obviously, it's just an opinion, who cares? We're friends at the end of the day. It's just us clowning on each other. It's all good. I don't think I'm gonna disagree with anything too much that he's gonna place here. Maybe one or two things that I can think of off the top of my head. But for the most part, I think this will be just a relatively just solid placement video. So we'll see how he goes from here. I don't know. We'll see. Let's see where he keeps going with this. But yeah, he's got into Pokemon pretty late. So this wasn't something he grew up with like how someone like me did. So he's a bit of a newer Pokemon player, but he's been playing through as many of the games as he can.
Trying to go with the popular opinion, nor am I trying to go with the objective list. I'm just going by, 100% good old Mike's opinion.
Respect.
I won't talk about any technical stuff, like special attack split, or whatever it's called. Better men than me have obsessed over that. And you also
I love
notice
Mike.
The length of this video is a little bit longer than usual, because we have a lot of games to cover. And this is sort of goes as a retrospective of these games from the viewpoint of a dude who started to play this franchise in 2016. So
Jesus
here we have
Christ, we were in college in 2016.
Just to get through all these bad boys.
Yikes.
Here are my tiers. We have worst, we have Chespin.
The world could do. It's like
In lackluster, we have Golurk. Mid is Pikachu.
It alright. It not subtle or nuanced. It tasteless and lukewarm. It alright.
And really good, or great, is my voice feel.
Nice. Nice.
That's a Piplup, Mike.
Smile. Nice.
And greatest, the best,
Oh
is
god.
Alakazam.
That's why he's the GOAT. The GOAT.
Another
I do love
disclaimer.
Alakazam.
I have finished most of these games, mostly just once. But the games I haven't touched or even played enough to form an opinion on.
I actually like that he's only played a lot of these games one time, maybe more than once, because it lets you like get your initial gut reaction. Like, I know people can reappreciate the certain aspects of certain games upon replaying them, but I also think that gut reaction that you get from the first time playing a video game is also really important.
Are in the haven't played or the Koraidon, how do you say that?
Koraidon.
Section. So I'm sorry about Ultra Sun and Moon. I'm getting there soon, I promise.
I wanted to play Ultra
Also,
Sun and Moon as well.
I was able to play all these games thanks to the kindness of Jert YT's heart. Yes,
Everybody clap it up for Jert YT. What a homie. What a homie. Yeah, Joe is like a collection of all of these games. He has like multiple copies of some of them. Without Joe, honestly, Mike probably wouldn't have played most of these. So shout out to my boy Jert YT. Go subscribe to him as well. His link will be in the description too. That's a homie. If you know Joe. He's been around the streams, been in collabs on this channel. Joe's a homie. What a good guy.
he let me borrow and even gave me most of these games and even the means to play them. But enough gab. Let's go tier list.
Alrighty.
Alright, first up we have Gen 1 with Red and Blue. Pokemon Red and Blue. Now, it must be known that without this game, we would not have Pokemon as we know it. We just wouldn't have Pokemon, period.
He's not wrong.
But, that being said, this game aged like milk. I'm sorry.
Okay. So let's break this down a little bit before we hear what he has to say. I don't hate this position. I don't. I think people overrate Gen 1 to the point of no return. I think Gen 1 is so far overrated. People like to clown on my favorite generation, Gen 5, because some of the Pokemon designs are stupid. Some of the Pokemon in this game are ball with eyes, magnet, and pile of sludge. And people hate on some of the Gen 3 and Gen 5 designs. And even some of the Gen 7, 8, and 9 ones, too. This game is very overrated. Yes, he's correct. There would be no Pokemon without this, but I think it's extremely overrated. So I don't hate this position at all.
This is coming from a guy who's played a lot of the newer games, so I'm spoiled in all the quality of life changes. I will admit that. But
Pokemon Red and
to
Blue
me
are rusty
today,
around the edges.
The lack of color, the lack of inventory management or ease of it, and the no sprint. I feel that kind of takes away from.
They're
the fun
very
this
slow.
Could have been.
Not quite
There's
Gen
also
4
no
slow,
sprint,
but
hence some of the slowerness of the game. For HMs, you have to. They're not automatic like they are in later games. Now, I'm not trying to bash this game per se.
I'll bash it. I think they're overrated. Just straight up. I think Red and Blue are overrated. And yes, they are. There would be no Pokemon without them, but you can't use nostalgia to rate something higher than what came after, especially when the things that came after consistently improved upon the formula that already was pretty solid. That's the way I see it. So I agree with everything he's saying about Gen 1 so far.
These quality of life improvements would not exist back then, so the developers would not know to add that stuff. I completely understand that, and I know some of the technical things. I know some of the moves are a little OP or underpowered or what have you.
Hyper
I
Beam,
understand all
Blizzard.
that could not have been changed back in the day, but as of today, by my standards, it's gonna go here. But honestly, that's a good thing. I mean, the first game.
He's right. If the first game is the worst one, you're doing something right. If you can get your first game as the worst one and consistently improve on the formula, you're doing something right.
Game should always be the worst, if you think about it. Because that way, all the other games improve on the formula. So if anything, this is a compliment to Pokemon, right? But hold on. Let's talk about some positives. I do very much enjoy the Kanto region, and I like most of the 151 Pokemon.
Kanto as a region's iconic, just plain and simple. It is. And again, there are some stupid Pokemon designs, but there are some solid ones. Charizard's overrated to no return, but it's a solid design. Venusaur, Blastoise, all three very good starters. There's some the OG Dragon, Dragonite, Nidoking. There's some really cool mons. There's Vileplume and Arcanine are some of my favorite Pokemon of all time. But I think there are quite a few misses, and I think people only don't choose to quantify them as misses because they're from Gen 1.
Starters, Bulbasaur, it's one of my favorite ever.
That's my king right
And
there.
We also have, some goats like Eevee, and of course
True.
my boy Alakazam.
True.
Even though you have to trade evolution, but he deserves some love. And we're talking about some legendaries. These were the first legendaries, so they're more classic. Articuno is my
love
favorite
Articuno.
out of all of them. My favorite legendary bird, my favorite Kanto bird, and just my favorite Gen 1 bird.
I love Articuno. Solid choice.
This in yellow, and I'm just saying Gen 1 games, not the remakes. This and yellow have the Mew glitch, which I've done a few times, and it is quite fun.
Myself as
I mean,
well.
all those negativities being said, I did finish Red, so there's that. Now, all those good things listed before, they're good, they're great even, but luckily because of the remakes, they have been done better. I would only recommend playing Red and Blue if you're a completionist, which I am starting to be.
Valid.
But other than that, I'm sorry, but that is where it shall stay.
Again, I agree with everything he's saying. The first game in the franchise should be this slow. You should be building upon the formula every time. That's the way I see it. So I don't disagree with anything he has said so far.
Next up, we have the enhanced version, Pokemon Yellow. Not too much to say about Yellow, except for it is a marginally improved version of Red and Blue. So,
Bruh.
there we are.
Yeah,
One,
pretty
there's
much.
color. Not a lot of color, but there is color. Gotta show respect to that. The story, while more linear, does offer a different experience, and you have the ability to catch all of these starters.
Which is
I
nice.
appreciate.
A lot of people really enjoy that.
Have all three of my starters, you know? Now, while it is cool to have Pikachu as your main character, your main Pokemon, I know that your rival has Eevee, and to be perfectly honest, I would rather, have Eevee than Pikachu, but that's just me, alright?
I think most people would agree with that
now-
statement.
Of course, this game came out in, the 90s, so the story followed
99, I
more
believe?
of the TV show, of the anime story, which in itself is good, and it's bad. In a way, you kind of play as Ash. Ash Ketchum. Who
That
I
is a
kind of find
cursed
annoying and
image.
obnoxious,
That is so
but,
cursed.
Hey, who am I to judge? You don't hear his...
Ash is definitely obnoxious early on. He gets better throughout some of the animes. Like, I think Gen 3, Gen 4 Ash is pretty good. Gen 6 Ash is phenomenal. Gen 7 Ash is pretty good. And then the Journey's Ash is pretty good. But, yeah, Gen 1, Gen 2, Gen 5 Ash, not great.
voice in this game, so A-okay with that.
Valid.
But overall, if you had to play a Gen 1 game, not Kanto, just a Gen 1 game, I would recommend Yellow.
We're gonna get to he's gonna get to the more improved Kanto games later on. That's why he made the distinction of Kanto versus Gen 1.
Now we go to Gen 2, starting with Pokemon Gold and Silver.
Alright, I actually don't remember where
My
he placed
opinion-
this.
Marginally better. In my opinion, this game is very much better than the Gen 1 offerings. Albeit not perfect. Johto as a region is...
I don't hate this. I think Gen 2 is very good. I think it is a very pleasant region. And it's got the added bonus of multiple regions in it. Both Johto and Kanto. But I think that there are some issues with, the level curves. I think some of the new Pokemon designs are kind of just okay. Those are, my biggest two designs. I love Johto as a region. I think a lot of the legendaries are really cool. The day-night cycle is pretty neat. But yeah, there's a couple of issues with it for sure. I love this region to pieces. But at the same time, I know he's going to get to Heart Gold and Soul Silver eventually. And it took everything that Gold and Silver were and just made it better. So I'm going to refrain from saying more until he gets to that, but still.
Is quite lovely. I love the ancient spiritual vibe of it. And as a story, it is a pretty decent sequel to the Gen 1 story. And the music, oh my lord. So Gen 1 obviously has some classics.
True.
Lavender Town, Cave Theme, what have you. But Route 29 is one of my all-time favorite gaming scores, period.
It's a good song.
I will revisit that when I get into the Heart Gold, Soul Silver.
Yeah.
Talking about starters, Cyndaquil is the GOAT
My dog is 2 for 2.
of the starters in Johto.
My dog is
Me
2
and
for
Cyndaquil
2.
we go way back. Top 5 best starters of all time.
I don't hate that statement at all. My boy's 2 for 2 on my favorite starters. Bulbasaur and Cyndaquil are my 2 starters I go for when I play through Gen 1 and Gen 2 respectively. So yeah, I don't hate that statement at all. I love Cyndaquil.
The lore behind the dogs, Johto dogs, and the Johto birds.
Is Lugia a
Celebi,
bird? I guess it's a
find
bird.
Quite interesting. And bruh, the fact that you actually get all of Kanto in the post game.
It's
and
so
see how
sick.
It changed in 3 years.
It's
is
so
amazing.
sick.
I think that's probably the best post game we're ever gonna get out of all these games.
Easily.
And I believe that was because the developers didn't think they were gonna have 4 Pokemon games. They didn't think it would be a good enough success. But
Yeah, there's been like some back and forth on that. So some people have stated that's the case and others haven't. I don't know what is the correct statement, because that's what I thought too. I thought it was they wanted to make in case they didn't get another game, they wanted to go out with a bang. And that's why I thought they did it this way. That's what I always thought, but apparently like new information is coming to light. I don't know.
But luckily, they were wrong. However, Gen 2 is not perfect. It still has issues.
It
One,
do.
you can't run. I mean, they didn't
All right.
invent that yet, so whatever.
They didn't invent running yet. Running was not invented until after 2000. I get that it is a slow game, and obviously they are going to be up until we get the running shoes in Ruby and Sapphire, but I don't know. I wouldn't knock that too much against it, personally, but I get that. It's slow. It is.
Johto is an amazing region, don't get me wrong, but there's a lack of new Pokemon, especially in the beginning. Now,
He's not wrong. There's only 100 new mons, and the only new Pokemon you can get early game are like Marill, Sentret, Spinarak, and Hoot, I believe. Maybe Hoppip. So, like, not a great lineup. I mean, you can get a Dunsparce, but who's going to use a Dunsparce on their playthrough? Like, in Dark Cave, you can get one, but, like, that's only if there's what's it called, I think? A Swarm or whatever. But I might be wrong. I don't know. It's been a while since I played base Gen 2.
Quill is a great starter, but Totodile, he's alright. Chikorita, eh.
I like Totodile and Chikorita.
Yeah. But, it's okay. So it's okay. It's okay. Some of the new Pokemon we get are Mareep and Wooper.
True. Actual goats. Love both of those.
They are my boys. God, I love them so.
Love Ampharos.
Skarmory's a badass too.
Skarmory's phenomenal.
Skarloey. Real G's get that reference. But the level scaling in the post game gets a little ridiculous.
I completely agree. The level scaling is the worst thing about Gen 2. 1,000,000% agree. The level scaling and level curves, worst thing about Gen 2 by far.
And the random encounter thing to catch the dogs is ass.
It's annoying. It's annoying.
This and Heart Gold, Soul Silver will share these issues. But that being said, it is a fun experience that ages better than Gen 1.
Absolutely, without a doubt.
Of course, next up we have the enhanced version, Pokemon Crystal. Not much really to say, except for Suicune is definitely more involved in the story, and you can play as a girl.
Hooray!
Ooh, girl. Oh. But I do confess, I have not played much of it. But what I have played, I definitely like. Because it's, of course, enhanced, it has to go a little bit above Gold Silver.
Valid.
And now we have Gen 3. Oh yeah, Game Boy Advance games.
I know where he's gonna place these.
Be a bit of a spoiler, but all of these games are going in the GOAT tier.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
That's my dog.
Does not get any better than this, in my opinion.
I wouldn't say it doesn't get any better, because there's a game that's very much up next that I think should go above Ruby and Sapphire, and that is Pokemon Emerald. I think Emerald is easily one of, if not the best Pokemon games of all time. I'd put Emerald above Ruby Sapphire, because he said nothing. I don't know, maybe he's gonna place Emerald higher anyway, but still. Yeah. I'm gonna be honest, I don't really like a lot of the new designs a ton. Like, Nosepass, Makuhita, Hariyama. Trying to think what else. I guess that's a good sign if I can't really think of much. Lunatone, Solrock. There's definitely some misses, but as you get further into the game, there's some hits. Because, like, after the first two gyms, you meet all sorts of cool new Pokemon. Electric and Manectric. Torkoal, I actually like, because I've used one in the playthrough and in VGC, and it's been phenomenal for me. Swellow's phenomenal. All three starters are great. Probably three of the best starter trios, or probably one of the best starter trios we've ever gotten. It has some phenomenal Pokemon, phenomenal designs. And I don't get the too much water, like IGN interview, whatever, 7.8 out of 10, too much water. I don't agree with that statement at all. I think it gives you a more defined idea of exploration, and I like that. Because previously, like, water routes were just seen as like, oh, just surf here across this little pond. Oh, cool, you're done with the water route. But they actually open it up a lot, which I like. It gives you the feeling of like sailing out at sea with your Pokemon, and I think that's pretty neat. Sorry about that. I got a phone call, so my bad. I had to stop the recording.
It is just as memorable as the Kanto region. Diverse landscapes and towns. I'm talking forests, mountains, volcanoes.
I honestly think some of the towns in the Hoenn region are some of the best designed towns we've ever gotten. Four Tree City, I love the tree houses. Lava Ridge Town is excellent. Pacific Log Town is great. Moss Deep City with the Space Center. Dude, there's so many good ones. Honestly, the town designs in this game are probably some of the best, for sure.
Volcanoes, oceans, log island things. Under
And there's a huge diversity of just landscapes in general, like he's saying. Like, you have all sorts of areas, and they don't just feel like fire area, ice area, water area, grass area. Like, they feel connected, like those should be where they're located, which I like. It's not just thrown in to be like, hey, we need a place for a bunch of ice-type Pokemon. I don't know, man, here's a mountain. Like, that kind of thing. Like how something like Scarlet and Violet or Sword and Shield did. But I feel like the Hoenn region feels more interconnected in that way. It feels more like a real place.
underwater caves, and/or looking tree houses, so on and so forth.
They do look like the
Your
full
character
horsemen of
feels
Endor.
more personable. The relationship he has with his dad, who isn't home because he's a gym leader, is a nice and subtle detail. It doesn't take you away from the main story. The different versions, of course, have different bad guy teams with a unique legendary to catch. Hell, Kyogre is my favorite legendary of all time.
It's my boy
Best thing about this
Kyogre.
game is the new Pokemon introduced.
There's so many good ones.
Good Pokemon.
So many.
Zigzagoon, Ludicolo,
Okay, you cannot tell me there's so many good Pokemon and then tell me the first one is Zigzagoon. I love you, Mike, and I don't know about that one, Chief. I like Zigzagoon. I wouldn't say it's one of, like, the GOATs. Ludicolo I do like quite a bit, but there's also, I think there's better ones, like the starters, like Gardevoir, the Gardevoir line, Mawile, Sableye, the Walrein line, Salamence. There's, I don't know, just something about him saying Zigzagoon was funny to me.
Shroomish,
I can agree with the Shroomish. Shroomish and Breloom are goated. Absolutely goated.
Aron, Gulpin,
I knew he was... Before he even... As soon as I saw the Gulpin on screen, I was like, I know what's coming next. I don't like Gulpin and Swalot. I'll just be honest. I don't really like them. I'm glad he does, but I do not like them. I think they're pretty mediocre.
Wailord,
Wailord is kind of whatever to me. The Trapinch line, excuse me, I do really love. Flygon is honestly one of my favorite dragons of all time. It's super cool.
Trapinch, Milotic,
My king Milotic, dude. There's a one right back there. I don't think you guys can see it. It's my second favorite Pokemon. Actually, third, because second would be Deontay. I love the Duskull. There's so many. Shuppet, Banette. Oh my god, Gen 3's got so many good mons, dude. There's so many good mons. Like, yes, there are some definite misses, but oh my god, when it hits, it hits.
Duskull, Glalie, Spheal,
Okay, Glalie. I don't know if Glalie one of the hits. Spheal, though, I'll agree to that.
and the best assortment of legendaries and starters. My god, this game has the
I honestly am gonna agree. I think that these are the three best starters. Mudkip is my favorite starter of all time. I will gladly admit that up front right now. Mudkip is my favorite starter. But Blaziken fans and Sceptile fans are eating, dude. Like, and all three of these mons got Megas eventually, and all three of them are great. Dude, every single starter fan, whether it be a water starter fan, grass starter fan, or fire starter fan, ate this generation. And that's not often that happens.
best 3 starters. No other game will match the quality of additional Pokemon starters, especially legendaries. I know what you're gonna
There's
say.
some good legendaries.
But Mike, what if I can't choose between Kyogre and Groudon? Well, don't worry. That is where
That's a good segue right there.
Emerald comes in.
That's a good segue.
That's my dog.
Yeah. It's
Emerald
gotta.
takes both bad guy teams. Both
This is one of the best Pokemon games of all time. It is. Just flat out plain and simple. I can't have nothing else to say besides that. It's one of the best Pokemon games of all time.
legendary mascots. It adds Rayquaza for you to catch. There is just so much game in this game. Emerald has what Ruby and Sapphire offer, and more.
True.
And for that, it is not only the best Pokemon game objectively,
Ooh.
but one of the best games of all time.
Ooh, my dog's spitting right now. Okay, big dog, I see you. I am honestly going to agree with, well, I think there are Pokemon games I enjoy more. I think objectively Emerald's probably the best one because of just how much stuff you can do in it. There's so much stuff you can do. They took Ruby and Sapphire and they made it better. Like, at that point, what else can you do? Like, it's one of the best Pokemon games easily, and I agree, one of the best video games ever. Like, definitely one of the best, like, RPGs on the Game Boy Advance. For sure. Whoops, I mean to do that. Whoops.
That being said, Fire Red and Leaf Green is my favorite Pokemon game ever.
Wow.
My dog.
There you go.
Wow.
It's also my first mainline Pokemon game, and clearly
Fire Red, Leaf Green above Emerald. Oh, that's tough. On the one hand, I get it. Everybody remembers their first, obviously. But, oh, I can agree with putting Fire Red, Leaf Green up. Kanto is an iconic region. It took a lot of what the bad parts of Red and Blue were and made them way better. there's not as much of a like barrier to entry, I guess, if that makes sense. Like you have, because there's a sharp difficulty curve in Red and Blue, and while it's still there in Fire Red and Leaf Green, you have more that you can do to alleviate that pressure. I don't think I'd put this thing in goated tier. I think I would put it in great, in the Spheel tier. But I can see where he's coming from.
Really, it did its job right for getting me to the franchise. Of course,
As like an entry level, I think it's probably the best. I think that's a good point. As an entry level game, it is probably the best game, either that or Heart Gold Soul Silver, to have someone who's never played Pokemon play. Either Fire Red Leaf Green or Heart Gold Soul Silver. If you have a friend, family member, whoever who wants to get into Pokemon and they don't know where to start, give them Fire Red Leaf Green, give them Heart Gold Soul Silver, give them Emerald, and they're going to have a good time.
this is the first remake of a Pokemon game, and it's a remake of Red and Blue, or really Red and Green. A little story time for you. It's
Story time
2016.
with Donker Dank.
I'm in college, being exposed to new things, new experiences. Pokemon Go comes out in the summer, and I've seen Pokemon all throughout my life, but I never partook in it.
Dude, I just want to say as an aside, when Pokemon Go came out, our campus was overrun with people just walking through. Like, I remember the night it came out, me and two of my friends got in one of their cars and we just drove around at like 5 miles an hour so that we could still get our steps in to hatch our eggs and stuff. Or maybe eggs weren't in the game yet, I can't remember. But that way we would still get our steps in to get rewards and stuff and still be able to run into Pokemon. And we just did that for like 5 hours, like until like 3 a.m. And we all had class the next day, I'm pretty sure.
Until my boy, Jert YT.
That's my homie.
Sexy man. Lets me play his copy of Fire
That's my homie right there. That's your YT.
Red on his Game Boy Advanced SP. I've never played a handheld game before in my life, nor was I too...
I actually did not know that about you, my dog. I knew that Fire Red Leaf Green was your first Pokemon game. I never knew you didn't play like a handheld before. Like no Game Boy, no DS, anything like that. That's kind of wild, actually. That's pretty cool. I'm glad that Fire Red Leaf Green was your first one. I think that's a perfect place to start.
too well versed in the RPG stuff. So imagine my experience with my first Kanto adventure, picking my first little Charizard and grinding him to a Charmeleon for the first time. I was sitting on the couch, facing away from the TV in the dorm while my friends were gaming, playing Overwatch or whatever. And while they were doing that, I was leveling up my Spearow with this handheld thing. I wasn't even looking at the TV, I wasn't even interacting with the console, I was just doing my own thing.
I actually really like this story. I think it really is like... It really is like, in my mind, it's you experiencing the childlike wonder of playing a Pokemon game as a kid for the first time. And I love that. I think that's really cool. And this story actually makes me very happy that you were able to get this experience. Even well into your... that would have been 2016, so you probably... Yeah, you would have been at least 18, 19. So even well into your teenage years, like being into starting your adult life, you still were able to get that nostalgic experience of being a kid and playing Pokemon for the first time. And I think that's really neat. I think that's awesome.
I know this sounds really stupid, but
It's not
I've
sound
never
stupid at all.
played a handheld before. This is such a new thing to me.
It's not stupid at all.
Like, the best games, I believe, are the simplest. And this was Pokemon at its best. Simple and not involved with the godlike Pokemons or open world mechanics or even that terribly optimized, 3D graphics.
We'll get to those.
My deepest regret was that I fell out of interest with this game.
Aw.
Fire Gym. Little did I know how close I was to the Elite Four. Damn it. Of course, I would be thrust right
Damn
back
it.
to Pokemon, again, thanks to a later entry. But you never forget your first, if you know what I mean.
Hey.
Beautiful game. What wonderful 2D graphics. Smooth and streamlined gameplay.
Very good sprite work as well. Like, very good sprite work. As like, I know he just said 2D graphics are great. Very good sprite work on the Pokemon. All the towns look phenomenal. Very, very well done. A phenomenal... The quintessential Pokemon remake, I think. For sure. Well, actually, no. We're going to get to the quintessential Pokemon remake. But this was the first remake that we got, and they hit it out of the park with it.
Awesome sprites. Very, very charming. I especially love the Seafoam Isles. Even though I hate caves, I just love the colors of that area.
It is very pretty.
Hell,
It's appealing to look at.
Color work in all of Gen 3 is immaculate. But more than that, the game is majorly improved from its Gen 1 counterpart. I mean, how can it not? It's a remake. Easier to manage inventory in Pokemon. And you can run. What more do we need to say? If you want to play some Pokemon, like some good Pokemon, like that top shelf stuff, we have 3 games. We have Fire Red, Leaf Green, Emerald, and a future entry that we'll not discuss yet, but I'll get there.
We're going to get there, and I know what it
I
is
mean,
already.
No disrespect to Ruby and Sapphire. It's just that Emerald has what Ruby and Sapphire offer
But better.
more. you know?
Yep, 100%.
However, like I said, this is as high as Pokemon get. It goes down from here. With exception, of course. Last I'll say about Fire Red and Leaf Green. If you are interested in ROM hacks, I beg you, I implore you, look
Ultraviolet?
for Pokemon Ultraviolet.
I know this is your favorite one.
It combines all of the events and all the available Pokemon of Fire Red and Leaf Green. It is the quintessential way of experiencing Gen 1 if you can do ROM hacks.
And now there's Radical Red too. Like I don't know if y'all caught the stream the other night, but Mike is playing Radical Red now and using all Pokemon up through Gen 9, which is another really cool thing that you can do now. And if you don't want to deal with the increasingly difficult things that I've been doing on stream, doing like the hardcore Nuzlocke, you can just play a normal playthrough or play on easy mode just to experience the story and everything. And it's really fun. Like honestly, like the stories in Radical Red, as well as being able to use all these new Pokemon through a Gen 3 game, is just so cool. Highly recommend that one as well if you're interested.
Yep, now we're at Gen 4.
Okay.
Bruh.
I am surprised I actually agree with that. Wow. I am honestly surprised I agree with that.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Diamond and Pearl. I have a myriad of issues with the game that I'll talk about.
I completely agree with this. These are another couple of Pokemon games I think are overrated. I actually completely agree here. They're so... I know we talked about Gen 1 and 2 being slow. These games are so slow. It is like... I get it because they weren't used to developing on the DS hardware yet. But, ah, my god, Chief. It is a slog to get anywhere and anything done. There's the whole Blissey Heracross meme where it takes like a full minute for its HP bar to drop after getting close combat. Like, dude. This game's just so slow. And, like, I will say, some of the new mons and new evolutions are really cool. But I think there's also a bunch of duds Pokemon that, like, we didn't really need. There's also a ton of legendaries that, like, most people don't even care about. I don't know. I think Gen 4 as a region is really cool. But I'm not a big fan of, like, the pacing of the game. And I feel like a lot of the, locations are kind of meh, honestly.
Well, the Sinnoh terrain, the legendaries, the events, the lackluster sprite work, fundamental flaw of Diamond and Pearl is that it is so goddamn slow. Battles
Basically just said everything I did. Mike, I could not agree with you more here, my dude.
take way too long to occur. God help you if you are treading through the grass and run into a wild Pokemon, or 5. Each encounter feels like a year.
Takes
Even
forever.
The wild battle music sounds like ass. Like, why does it sound like a baby fire alarm? Lest we forget,
I can't unhear that. I can't unhear that now that he said that. It does sound like a baby fire alarm. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the wild battle theme, actually. The more I think about it.
about that one video that encapsulates the agony
Blissey
of this
Heracross.
slow-ass game.
Blissey
The one
Heracross.
where Heracross and Blissey duke it out. It takes a millennium for Blissey just to die.
Yup.
I don't know if this game just wasn't optimized properly from the DS.
I think
It
so.
takes all the fun out of Diamond and Pearl. The speed, or lack thereof, isn't my only grievance. The terrain of Sinnoh is hell to navigate. On top,
The marshes are super annoying. Rock climb as an HM is just super annoying in general. Mount Coronet, although the summit is really cool, navigating the caves is annoying. I agree, my dude. The ice routes, oh my god, the snow and ice routes, bruh. I hate that part of the game.
of the time-consuming wild battles, you have to trudge through swamps, blizzards that also slow you down.
Yup,
Now on paper, it is awesome to get different biomes, don't get me wrong.
I agree.
They shouldn't add tedium to the game.
Exactly.
Don't get me started on how certain routes are reliant on you having every HM and its mother to get by.
Yep. Like, literally, there's the route just south of Snow Point, where if you walk into the wrong patch of snow, you're just kind of stuck moving at a snail's pace through it, and you need all sorts of HMs to get through it, like Strength, Rock Smash, Rock Climb. It's so annoying. Same thing with Mount Coronet. You need so many HMs to get through that. Like, HMs are just not a fun mechanic. I don't think that's controversial. I just don't think HMs are a fun mechanic. So building a region that has a lot of exploration based around HMs, not a fan. Not a fan. Especially when they're mandatory. Like, I guess there are some times where it's like, oh, cool, a little secret that I have for having this HM. But, like, when it's mandatory, that's just not a fun way to design the video game.
And now the legendaries. It is my opinion that Gen 4 is the point where I start to care little about the legendary Pokemon.
I don't know if I agree with that, because I actually really like Dialga, Palkia, and Giratina. Unless he's going to say that he's talking about the other legends, like Mesprit, Azelf, Uxie, Darkrai, Cress, Fion, Manaphy, all them. Unless he's going to say that. But I actually really like Dialga, Palkia, and Giratina.
I think Gen 3 stretched the importance of them as far as they go. Having two big-ass monsters battling out until the big Skyworm comes down and
Big
knock it off
Skyworm.
is all you needed. We don't need incarnations of time and space and darkness.
See, I don't mind that aspect of it. I actually kind of like it. I think Arceus might be a little bit much, but I guess it's cool that there's like this creator of the Pokemon world kind of thing. I like Dialga and Palkia and Giratina though.
Matter. Let alone God the Pokemon. This
Valid.
takes it too far in my opinion. We don't need the creation of the universe in our simple having pets fight each other game. Breaks.
He's not wrong. I don't know. Adding lore I think is cool. And Sinnoh's whole thing is like the idea of creation and everything, but I don't know. I kind of agree and disagree with this statement just because like I agree that like we don't need this Pokemon game to be all dark and gritty and everything, but at the same time like adding world building, I don't hate that.
The immersion. Also, while event Pokemon have existed way before
There's
this game,
so many.
Diamond and Pearl are excessive for the
There's so like look at all these fools. There's so many legends in this game, dude. And like I can count the ones I like on one hand. Manaphy, Dialga, Palkia, Giratina, Shaman. Give me 5. That's it. Every other one I'm like whatever. I don't really like a lot of these other guys. Like nobody, do we really need Regigigas? Like we already had the Regi Trio. We didn't need Regigigas. We didn't need Cresselia, Darkrai. I mean like yeah, they have a cool parallel, but that's about it. Fiona's just filler. Like I don't get why Fiona exists. To this day, I don't understand it. But I love Manaphy, so I'll defend Manaphy.
their limited, time-limited events. I hate the idea that part of the game can only be played legit if you just happen to exist at one point in time.
It is really stupid. And yeah, there's workarounds for it and everything, but he's not wrong. You shouldn't have to find a workaround just because you didn't own a copy of a video game at the time or because you didn't have the means of accessing the event. Because if you didn't have Wi-Fi, you weren't getting these events, dog. Like, sucks to be you. You can own the games at the time and everything, but if you didn't have Wi-Fi, sucks to suck. Or you don't live in Japan, oh, sucks to be you, dog. Like, I definitely agree with that. It's really stupid.
Like, all this stuff should be post-game. And this goes especially for having the Arceus event. Like, if you're going to have people play...
I don't know why he just sounded so angry at that. He sounded, for some reason, the way he spoke into his mic, he sounded so angry for a second.
play as God, why limit it to just an event? But maybe, you know, that's just a Nintendo thing. Limit...
I mean, he ain't wrong. Wait, hold on. Hold on. Oh, it's literally on top. And I'm part of the problem. And I am part of the problem because I also bought a copy of that game.
games releases so that if you want to play legit, you have a limited time to buy the game, or else you get nothing. In fact, now that I think about it, unless
You get nothing. Good day, sir.
you're lucky enough to get these older games back then, or have a dank-ass friend like, you know, Joe, let you borrow them,
My king.
kind of shit out of luck, even though Pokemon has made Nintendo a shitload of money. Meanwhile, if you want to play all the
Highest grossing media franchise of all time, by the way.
Halo games or COD, Xbox will gladly let you do so via Game Pass,
Yup.
backwards compatibility. Sony doesn't let you play older titles because they screwed up the PS3 coding. Whatever, it was a mistake. Nintendo has no excuse for this practice.
True.
But hey, maybe they somehow profit better from it. But
Probably, because they could just re-release old versions of old hardware and then incentivize people. Like, I guarantee you, if they ever release the, like, GBA Pokemon games on the Virtual Console, or not Virtual Console, whatever it is, the GBA Online pack for Switch, they're going to see a huge spike in profits, because people are going to want to play them on, like, official Nintendo hardware again. Like, they want to be able to play their... If they don't have Red, Blue, or Fire Red and Leaf Green, or Emerald, or Ruby Sapphire... Being able to take that on your go on your Switch is just so sick. So if they ever did that, they'd see a huge spike in profit. So that's got to be why they don't do it that way. It has to be.
I digress. Let's go on. Sprites are also a step down from Gen 3.
Facts.
Like, Gen 3 nailed the design simplicity, while Gens 4 and up over-detailed them.
I disagree about that when it comes to Gen 5, but we'll get to that.
Now, hold on. I don't hate Gen 4. I find Sinnoh to be an average to good region aesthetically.
I really like Sinnoh's region. I think it's got really high highs, but also the lowest of low lows. That's the way I see it. The low lows are so low, but the high highs are also very high.
I like Team Galactic, especially when they commit a war crime against the Magikarp.
If you haven't played Diamond and Pearl, you know what he's talking about. They literally blow up a lake and let some Magikarp die in the sun. It's kind of metal when you think about it.
I don't really care much for the starters, but except for Piplup.
My
That's
king!
right, he's my boy. You know, good penguin dude. I like the newer
Good
forms
penguin dude
of older
indeed.
Pokemon, like Licky, Yanmega, Magnezone.
Okay, I wouldn't have started with Licky as my first one. I don't like Licky. I will say, Licky has saved my butt in Radical Red. I do like Yanmega. I do like Magnezone.
Electivire, so on.
Electivire is whatever. I like Porygon Z. I like Glaceon. I like Leafeon. I like Gliscor. I like Frostlass. Trying to think what other ones there are. Not a big fan of Rhyperior. Not a big fan of McMortar. I like Gallade. I do like Yanmega. Probopass, actually, I'm starting to like more. I don't know. Definitely some hits. Definitely some misses.
Probably the best thing about Diamond and Pearl is the music.
This
Some of the
music is
best tracks
so
in the
good,
series.
dude.
The lake theme is a
The lake theme is, I was just about to say, the lake theme is one of the best themes in Pokemon. It's one of the best songs Pokemon's ever made. It's so good. There's so many good soundtracks in this game.
And I consider Cynthia's battle theme a legendary
Oh my god, that song is so good. Absolutely agree.
video game track. I highly encourage you to check out the Smash Ultimate version of that. It's wild. But that's all I have to
So good.
say about Diamond and Pearl. Alright, now we have
Diamond and Pearl, but better.
Platinum. It's Diamond and Pearl,
But better.
faster, and with more stuff. So, obviously, it's better.
Oh my God!
But with most enhanced editions, this is the one to play, for sure. I
It's a
could
lot
get into
better.
the Giratina stuff, but I won't.
It's a lot better. Honestly, just improving the speed of it and optimizing the game a little bit more made it a so much more enjoyable experience.
Because the fact that it is faster is good. Like you can actually enjoy Gen 4 for what it is. And there is good stuff to be had there. So, if you're to play Gen 4, you don't want to torture yourself. Platinum's way to go, baby.
1,000,000%.
Oh, yeah. Now, remember a minute or so back when I said there were 3 games I consider to be the go-to Pokemon games? You know, I said Emerald.
I know, obviously, you see what game is up next, and this is what I complete. This is what I think is the best Pokemon game ever made. So I'll let him take it, and then we'll talk.
I said Fire Red and Leaf Green. Well, there's another one. Heart Gold and Soul Silver. Yes, sir. Right here.
That's my dog.
Without a doubt, Heart Gold and Soul Silver is the best anything to come out of Gen 4. It's
Easily. It's so good. It's so unbelievably good. I did not play this when it first came out. This is when I took my Pokemon break. If y'all don't know, after Diamond and Pearl released, I took a break from Pokemon. I did not play another Pokemon game until Black and White 2 was announced and about to release, and then I bought Pokemon White version. So I took like a couple year break from Pokemon, and I did not get to play Heart Gold and Soul Silver or Platinum until later on down the line. And when I played Heart Gold and Soul Silver for the first time, it was like being a kid with my Crystal version on my Game Boy Color all over again. I think they are easily some of the best Pokemon. I think they, in my opinion, either this or Emerald is the best Pokemon game ever made. Heart Gold, Soul Silver, or Emerald are the best Pokemon games. Maybe not my favorite, but I think they are objectively the best ones.
the vibe of Johto, well, the quality of life changes, and the advantage of the two
so good,
screens
man.
from the DS. The vibe is amplified by the newer graphics and the higher quality sound.
And it's just so Johto with enhanced graphics is just gorgeous. All the beautiful colors, the beautiful locations. Ecruteak City looks phenomenal, especially with all the extra color palettes and everything. Even just like the normal like starting areas look phenomenal, like New Bark, like Cherry Grove. They look so good. Oh god, I love Skate to Pieces.
The music alone is a treat to listen to.
Very good
Story
soundtrack.
time. When I got back into Pokemon after beating Kanto, I was quick to borrow Soul Silver from Mr. Joe and explore Johto for the first time. This was a whole new adventure. I've never been
One might say it's a whole new world we live in.
outside of
I had
Kanto in-game, nor played with any of the Pokemon outside the OG 151. The sense of adventure and excitement was captured in the music of Route 29, which, again, I consider to be one of the best
Great song.
Pokemon. Quite the cheery tune.
Okay, sorry about that. I am back. I was on the phone with my insurance company for a solid 20 minutes, so sorry about the abrupt cut. I guess everybody just loves calling me when I stream and when I am recording a video, but nobody wants to talk to me when I'm not. That's just my life, I guess. Sorry about that. I kind of lost my full train of thought on what I was saying, but I'll just rewind by like 10 seconds and we'll go from there. All right, so we'll start from here.
Again, I consider to be one of the best in all of Pokemon.
And I can't hear it. Why can't I hear it?
The cheery tune. Aside from that, the sprite work is
Alright, we're
also definitely an improvement from Diamond, Pearl, Platinum. And the fact that you can have one of your buddies follow you in the overworld is something I need to give Gen 4 praise for.
So I can agree with this. This is what I was gonna say before I got interrupted by the phone call. So there is a reason that every time a new Pokemon game comes out, one of the main prevailing questions on people's mind is, can your Pokemon follow you? Because they became accustomed to it in Gen 4, specifically in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, being able to do that. And it's really a neat little feature. Like, it's just nice being able to have one of your little creature friends follow you from behind. Whether that's your cute little Cyndaquil you pick for your starter, or the literal god of the Pokemon world. It's just a cool little feature that you can do. So I can definitely see why people really like it. I myself completely agree. I love it. They took what Gen 4 did with the park in Heart Home City, and then they just made it so you could do that anytime you wanted to. It's awesome. It's such a fun feature.
I love having my boy Typhlosion walking behind me. You know?
Valid. It's
Funny
a
enough, I was
menacing
actually
boy.
kind of let down playing it for the first time, due to the lack of new Pokemon, and the game was definitely harder than what I was used to. This game, like all of Gen 4, has a lot of limited time events.
Yeah.
It's great if you know how to hack
Again,
them in,
downsides.
but you know my opinion about that. As the years went on, I came to appreciate all the great content offered by this game. I got a repro cart of Heart Gold on Etsy, and I'm able to trade Pokemon from it, so I'm a happy boy.
Hey, smart idea.
Definitely one of the best games here, hands down.
Easily.
A lot can be said about Gen 5. There are definitely huge improvements from Gen 4. But I'll...
Alright. So, I want to say right now, for the most part, I have agreed with basically the majority of everything Mike has said so far. This is where we're going to have some issues.
So some major flaws that hurt the franchise. So, let's talk about the good first.
I don't agree with that at all. Yes, this is me being completely biased towards Gen 5 because it's my favorite generation. Yes, I fully agree with that. But I don't agree with that at all. I would put this bottom of GOAT tier. Maybe top. It's my favorite. I don't know if it's objectively the best one, but it's easily my favorite and did a ton of right things. I'm going to see what he has to say, though.
Right. It plays a lot better and a lot faster than Gen 4.
Yeah, huge upside right off the bat. They optimized the game so much better for the DS. It runs phenomenally. You won't get like any real slowdown issues. The sprite work in battles of like the animated 2D sprites is so freaking good. There's a reason that so many people want them to bring that style back because it is beloved. And even online battling simulators like Pokemon Showdown have a specific option where you can use black and white sprites instead of the 3D models for Pokemon because of how many people just love the way those sprites look. They're so unbelievably good.
Very snappy. Like when I first started playing Gen 5, I don't think I turned off the battle animations because there was no point. The game was fast enough. And so the game's fun.
Yeah, it's fast and fun. It's not fast enough to the point of being overwhelming, but it's not slow enough to the point of being boring. It's like the perfect happy medium.
The game is fun, and that is the most important thing a game can be, is fun.
Very true.
Just throwing that out there now, before I rip into it.
Oh no.
Story also is interesting.
I think Gen 5 is the best story in the franchise. I truthfully believe that. I think Black and White is the best story in the franchise. Team Plasma, phenomenal. N is one of the most complex characters in the franchise, and such a very fun character to see them grow and change over the course of the story, especially with the added elements of Black and White too. I think, oh my god, it's the story in Gen 5 is so unbelievably good. The gym leaders actually do something, which is cool. Like, for once, the gym leaders do something. It's such a good story, and like the whole N gets this relationship and then like basically adopting him and being his father figure, and gets this like manipulating and twisting his mind to fit his own narrative. Like, that aspect of it is so unbelievably interesting, and it makes N such a more tragic and intricate character than you might have thought at like the beginning of the story. It's so good.
Definitely different than what we've had before. with more character moments, especially with N, and the girl character dealing with her asshole of a dad.
Bianca is her name, yes. But that one is kind of over and done with pretty quick. I think there's like maybe one callback to it in Nimbasa, but I don't know. I think though that moment in particular is like not as big for me, but it is a nice moment for sure. But anything with N on the screen is just gold mine.
All right, not fun stuff. Here we go. Ready? This game is ugly as hell.
Oh my god! You cannot be saying that. You cannot be telling me this game is ugly. It's beautiful. It is the best looking game on the DS. I think it looks better than Heart Gold Soul Silver, design wise. I think Heart Gold Soul Silver has a better color palette. I will agree. I will say that. I think Heart Gold and Soul Silver, when it comes to like the color palette of the games themselves, looks better than Black and White. I think when it comes to the graphics, I think when it comes to the aesthetics of the region, as well as just what they've done with like the draw distances and the battle backgrounds and like just the overall environments, it goes a bit more realistic, but I don't think realism means bad. Like, it seems more realistic than Gen 4, but I think that was a good step for the franchise. I really like how they look. You can clearly see that Game Freak knows what they're doing with the DS now. When Diamond and Pearl came out, they had no clue what the hell they were doing. They had no idea how to develop on the DS. By the time Black and White came around, they were pros. They knew exactly what to do, how to get the most out of the system, and make it look absolutely breathtaking when they do it. Even just little places around the area look so good. They do small things to spruce them up. Even like something as dumb as like the sand route after Castelia City, with like the Relic Castle and everything. That area looks so good, even if it's just muddled by a sandstorm. The Chargestone Cave, they took a cave and made it interesting. They actually made a cave interesting. I didn't think they could do it. All the bridges you can go across, really showing how the region is like connected together through various other means of infrastructure. It's very, very cool how they like almost modernized it a bit more, and I really enjoy that. I don't agree with that statement. I'm sorry. I think calling this game ugly is a far stretch.
The color palette is washed out with a lot of brown and gray.
Brown and gray, I'm going to disagree on. Washed out, I will give you. I think that it is, I wouldn't say washed out. I would say more muted. Because I think a lot of the trees and the grass looks more muted. Because they, like I said, they went for that more realistic kind of style. It's just become Kai defending Black and White. Heart Gold, Soul Silver, Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, Emerald, those have more vibrant colors. I can definitely agree with that statement. I don't think the way that Gen 5 approached the color palette is a bad thing, but it definitely is not as pronounced as the games that came before it. And for some people, that is a demerit, and I can completely see how that would be a valid criticism against it. However, saying that it's just a bunch of browns and grays, I don't think I can agree with that, because the greens do pop out nicely, especially against like the water in this game. The water is so unbelievably pretty with like that just slight little hint of blue and white to it, and then the trees in the background with the soft greenish gray color. It looks so good. I don't think calling this game just a bunch of grays and browns is a fair statement. I didn't mean to do that. Whoops.
It doesn't really pop out as much as the games prior.
I can agree with that. It does not. I'll give you that one. Aesthetics, I think, are better. Color palette, not so much. I can agree with that statement.
Not even Gen 4. The UI is also kind of lame. It's very like 2000s cool kid, spy kid looking ass aesthetics. And on a personal note, I'm not.
Is he talking about the Sea Gear? Is he talking about the Sea Gear? It's just the Poketch, but better. It's just the Poketch, but better. You can actually like customize it, and you get little backgrounds for it. It's kind of cool. And like this game has free space. It has like all the different orderings for your bag. It's so convenient to like move things around that way. It's so nice. Like I don't think calling the UI like that is it's a fair criticism, but like I think it works in the context of the world, because again, this is Pokemon becoming more modernized, so they're attempting to incorporate in more modernized gadgets, or a version of a more modernized gadget. In this case, like a smartwatch or something like that. Same with the cross transceiver with like cell phones and like FaceTime and stuff. That was becoming prominent as well, like face calling, Zoom, Skype, all that. So it was their attempt to modernize it a bit more. So I don't think calling it Spy Kids is really an appropriate way to refer to it.
The biggest fan of the Unova region.
All right, I'll give him that one. It is just kind of a circle. It is just kind of a circle. I think the parts of it are very nice. Like, it is definitely, the whole of the sum of its parts is not as good as the parts themselves. Like, the Unova region as a whole is not as good as the individual parts within it. I can agree with that.
For those of you who don't know, Unova is based on the United States.
America.
Each game prior has been based on a region in Japan. Now, hold on. I love my country. I love America.
America
is the best place to live on the entire planet. Here's the thing. I can go outside and
I'd like to live in Japan. I'm just gonna, or Iceland, or New Zealand. I'm gonna throw that out there.
I can travel. I can drive, fly somewhere really quick. And I can experience all these places from black and white. But Gens 1 and 4 were of course set in Japan. And I feel that added a layer of adventure to that fantastic world, because I've never...
Right, but at the same time, the opposite can be said about someone who was from Japan. Like, it might have started out as a sense of adventure for them because they were from there, but over time, being able to just, like, go to those places and, like, drive and walk outside, especially as they got older, is probably a similar feeling to what you felt upon playing this game for the first time. So, I think that isn't really, like, a... I mean, I get what you're saying, but at the same time, like, it's also true for people outside of Japan where Pokemon's extremely popular. Like, yes, we are just one population of a country, albeit a very a prominent population. We aren't just the only ones who are experiencing these kinds of games. So people in Japan being able to experience some games based on a different culture, a different part of the world, is that giving that sense of adventure for them, as well as people from countries like the UK, or from France, or from Korea, or any place like that, people who haven't been able to experience quote-unquote Western culture. So it gives them that kind of sense of adventure of experiencing new places that they couldn't just walk out their door and hop on a plane for a couple hours and be there. So I don't know. I see what you're saying, but I think it also provides other people with a sense of adventure.
I've been to Japan, you know? But that's just my preference. Although I do wonder this. Pokemon is marketed all throughout the world, but mainly in
True.
Japan. So the Japanese kids playing these games are familiar with those regions. And since this game is really in America, and the next game, of course, is in France, and in the islands, and the UK, Spain, and so on and so forth.
Right.
I wonder how those kids feel about the differences from that versus being in the Japanese region that they're used to.
It might be like what you mentioned. It might be giving them like the sense of exploring a far-off land, like that sense of adventure that you brought up. Because, like, for me, like, yeah, I could just, like, if I wanted to, I live 4 hours from New York. I could get in my car right now and drive to New York and back and be back by dinner time. But at the same time, like, being able to be from a different culture and experience parts of that culture based on, through a video game based on that particular place is very fascinating. Like, we got to experience some little bits of Japanese culture just by playing Pokemon from Gen 1 through Gen 4. Because, like, that taught me about Japanese yokai. Because I didn't know what they were until playing Pokemon and learning what they were because of various Pokemon designs, like something like a Voltorb, or something like a Frostlass, or a Drowsy, or a Mawile, like those kinds of Pokemon. It gives me an idea of, like, a little bit more into, like, the Japanese culture as a whole, as well as the different festivals that they do, and, like, their ideas of tradition and, like, growth. It's very fascinating. So I think being from a different country outside of the US and being able to experience little bits of Western culture through this game, I think is a lot of really fun things to be able to try out. Like, it gives somebody a taste of something that they wouldn't be able to get immediately without, like, flying halfway across the world.
Food for thought. Let me know in the comments if you know anything. Alright, let's go back to the main problem I have with Black and White. It is my opinion that Gen 5 did irreparable damage to the Pokédex. There are some lackluster and stupid, ugly Pokemon introduced here. We have the Ice Cream Cone.
I like the ice cream. I think the ice cream's good. It's fun. It's a really good Pokemon. It's just like a little thing of ice with snow on it. It's just cute. It's just cute. And then there's like a real world snack that's based on it. That's kind of adorable.
The stupid dog.
Alright, the dogs or whatever. Like, you need like your early game normals, like whatevs. Like, I don't really care for the dogs, but like you need your early game normal types. And Lillipup is really cute. The Lillipup is really cute. I'm not a huge Herdy or Stoutland fan, but Lillipup is adorable.
Stupid cat.
I like the stupid cat until they made it stand up, and now I hate the stupid cat. I do like cats.
Stupid frog.
You watch it! Seismitoad is amazing! At least he didn't come for Palpitoad. Leave my king alone. You can kind of see his warts back there. I like Seismitoad was my MVP. It's a cool frog. It's like a poison frog. It's super fun. Water ground typing is phenomenal. And it gets poison. It's cool.
The stupid zebra.
People have wanted a zebra. It's cool. People have been dying for a zebra Pokemon. And it's super fast, and it's an electric type. Like, people were like, oh, it's just gonna be a stupid normal type. It's an electric type. That's kind of neat.
The gears.
All right, the gears I'll give you.
Norm of the North.
Okay, he's not wrong. And it is just a white Dorito, but it's a polar bear. It's cool. And it goes well because, like, polar bears are primarily native to North America, I think. Because they're native to, like, Canada, Alaska, the Arctic Circle, all that. So that's kind of neat.
And, of course, who could forget? Trash.
Grimer and Muck is all I'm going to say. Grimer and Muck. Grimer and Muck. I'm not saying that, like, Trubbish is amazing. Although I think it's kind of cute in a stupid, goofy kind of way. But Grimer, all I'm saying is Grimer and Muck. All I'm going to say is Grimer and Muck are much worse than Trubbish and Garbodor. My opinion. Not Alola Muck is cool. And then, like, other games have had really bad designs. And, like, I think I can defend most of those designs. Outside of the gears. The gears are stupid. I'll give you that one. But, again, it also fits into the more modern themes of the region, which is also pretty cool at the same time. But still, I don't really like them. But then again, you also have Pokemon from Gen 1 like Grimer, like Muck, like, Just a Seal. Literally Just a Seal. You have Magnemite, Magneton, a bunch of magnets. Voltorb, and Electrode. There's just, like, there are bad Pokemon from every generation. So saying that this is Gen 5's fault, I think is not a fair criticism to make. Because every single generation has major duds in its Pokedex. Excuse me. Like, even Gen 2... I'm trying to think of some off the top of my head. Sunflora, Sunkern, Apom until Gen 4. Girafarig I love, but it was really bad until Gen 9. There's bad, like, Makuhita. I don't like Glalie. Nosepass in Gen 3. Like, I don't like Zigzagoon. Wurmple. Like, Wurmple's whatever. Beautifly and Dustox are all... There's bad Pokemon in every game. And that's just a Game Freak's tendency to throw out some, shall we say, creative attempts that fall flat. And I think that they sometimes succeed at those creative attempts, and other times, like as previously mentioned, they fall flat. And some of Gen 5 did fall flat. But just saying that this is Gen 5's fault, I don't think is a fair thing to say, because other generations have had bad Pokemon designs, but Gen 5 also has phenomenal designs. Zekrom, Reshiram, all three starters are pretty solid. Emboar's whatever, actually. Liepard is actually really cool. Like, an evolution of Purloin's dope. I love the Seismitoad line. Leavanny. These have some phenomenal bug types, like Leavanny, Scolipede, Volcarona. The bug types in this game are phenomenal. What else? Like, I like Emolga. I know people don't. There's Crocodile, the Crocodile line. Yamask and Cofagrigus are super cool. The fossils are really interesting. We get a flightless bird fossil. That's so cool. I think a lot of the designs get too much hate in Gen 5. I could go on all day about this, but in the expense, I'm going to let Mike keep talking because this is a video mainly about what he has said, not what I am going to say.
It is evolution, bigger trash.
Again, the bigger trash is really good in battle, I'm just saying. Hazard stacking, though?
The worst part is that these sons of bitches come back in every game after this, it feels like. Like in Sword and Shield, it feels like a third of the Pokemon are from Gen 5. Oh.
That's because they didn't really do much with Gen 5 mons in Gen 6 or 7. Like, they came back, but they weren't, like, prevalent, I guess. Like, you still could catch them, but they weren't, like, they weren't, like, the go-to mon for that region. Like, they brought back mons for specific regions that were, like, meant to be there. Garbodor and Trubbish are the only ones in Gen 8 to get a Gigantamax form that weren't from Gen 1 or from Gen 8. So I kind of like that they did that. They took something that maybe not a lot of people liked and tried to give it a new form to make it interesting. So it shows that they were trying, because with Mega Evolutions, they didn't really do that a lot. They kind of just picked Pokemon that were already popular. Outside of like a couple, like Lopunny and Audino, and maybe like Beedrill, there weren't really a lot of Pokemon that got Mega Evolutions that needed. So I like that they used a gimmick to try and give something to a Pokemon like Garbodor, who maybe could benefit from a new form. It wasn't a very good new form, but at least they tried.
Oh, and the legendaries. From this point on, the legendaries are all dog shit.
No! I'll give you the sort. Well, no. Reshiram is phenomenal. Zekrom is phenomenal. I love Meloetta. Keldeo is really interesting. I don't hate Genesect. It's a genetically modified Pokemon, and that's cool. The Sword of Justice, whatever. I think even Keldeo, I'll give you. I'm not a big Keldeo fan, actually. But, I don't know, Chief.
And severely lackluster. Like Swords of Justice.
I'll give you those. They're just okay. I'll give you that. It's cool. Three Musketeers, whatever. I'll give you that. They're just okay.
Kiss my ass. There are 2 Pokemon.
I mean, you see that picture of Keldeo?
Like Swords of
You see that? Look at that. Look at that extra line right there on its hindquarters. Like, they defined it. They defined that booty on Keldeo. I'm just saying.
Justice. Kiss my ass.
That's what Keldeo's saying, my dude.
There are 2 Pokemon I cherish from this game, though. The Fire Starter, Tepig.
Oh my god, that's literally the worst starter of all time. Mike, what are you doing? Oh, I hate Tepig. I don't hate Tepig. I don't like Emboar. I think Emboar is ugly as hell. Phenomenal shiny, though. Phenomenal shiny. Tepig, I think, is my least favorite starter in this game, and probably one of my least favorite starters in the entire Pokemon franchise. Sorry, Mike.
And of course, the Lord himself, Amoonguss.
Oh my. This is just because it's a funny, stupid meme, and I hate that.
Look, he's even...
Oh, God. I hate this. I hate this Pokemon so... Like, maybe this is just a competitive player in me, but Amoonguss is the most annoying Pokemon I've ever had to deal with. In both singles and doubles, it's just so annoying to deal with. And, like... Yeah, I'll give you this. I don't like this Pokemon. Just gonna throw that out there.
Pogging. How cool is that?
That's funny.
I am ragging on this game quite a bit. But, again, it is a lot faster than Gen 4. It is it's fun, alright? It is fun. At the end of the day,
It's very fun.
the game needs to be fun first and look good next. But the new Pokemon offered here are the worst.
They're not!
In my opinion.
You're spoilers for later in the list. You defend Sword and Shield. Sword and Shield's Pokemon are way worse than Gen 5's.
And here we have Black 2, White 2. Yes.
Literally, again, some of the best Pokemon games in the franchise. Black and White 2 took Black and White and just like juiced it up. They made it better. They brought back old Pokemon so you could use them during the story. They like added all sorts of extra intricacies and fun things you could do on the side. You can be a movie star. You can enter musicals. Black and White 2 have the biggest post-game outside of Gen 1. It's insane the amount of stuff you can do after you beat the main story. It's insane. You can run a shopping mall. It's so fun.
Sir, admittedly, I haven't really played much of it. I played once during a Nuzlocke with, Joe, Jert YT, and Kyler from Kai Guy YT.
Hi, that's me.
And I don't
Hi, that's me. Hello.
recall much, but what I remember was cool. So I'm gonna place it here.
We did not get far. We beat the first gym. So saying we didn't get very far is a little bit of an understatement. We didn't get far at all. We got past like the first gym.
Right here. And thus, not only ends Gen 5, not only the DS games, but the
I think Gen 5 does not get enough credit for how gorgeous the games are. Again, color palette, I'll give you. I agree with you on that, Mike. But like aesthetically, I think Gen 5 and in Black and White and Black and White 2 push the DS to its limit and look phenomenal aesthetically while doing it. And I like a lot of the new Pokemon. Like, I know they have their duds, but a lot of the new ones are actually really cool.
Era as a whole, as it is now time for 3D.
And we're here.
Starting, of course, with Gen 6 on the 3DS. How did X and Y do in bringing us this new age?
Let's find out.
Pretty good, I'd say.
Oh my god!
Okay, putting Gen 6 above Gen 5 is a crime. And I like Gen 6. I'm one of like 20 people in the world who likes Gen 6. The other ones being Mike and Joe. That'd be a pretty wild event if like if all three of us from the same room, 3 of the 20 people who like Gen 6 would be in the same room at once. That's pretty neat. But putting this above Gen 5? I cannot put this above Gen... I like X and Y. I love Mega Evolution. I think they should bring Mega Evolution back and screw Dynamax, screw Zeke moves. They can keep Terrestrialization. Terrestrialization's cool. But Mega Evolutions are probably easily the coolest gimmick battle mechanic they've ever added. I do like Terra, but Mega Evolution was by far the coolest. Putting this above Gen 5, though... I think if you're looking at aesthetics, dude, I think Gen 5 easily outweighs like the chibi kind of style of Gen 6. Like a lot of where you see like a bunch of like muted colors in Gen 5, I see a lot of like muted color palettes in Gen 6. Granted, there are some areas where that's not the case. I think the flowers where they add to the roots that also have like a unique battle transition based on the color of the petals you were in, I think is really neat. Other areas of the game I think are really pretty. I think the gym designs are really cool. Viola's gym is awesome. Ramos's gym, climbing the ropes and stuff. Same thing with Grant, swinging or climbing the rock walls and stuff. They have some cool ideas. But overall, outside of like one or two areas, it's just a very dull looking game to me.
I definitely feel like this game is more average on paper, but I'm definitely more biased towards it.
Alright, at least he said that.
I definitely found it a lot more fun than Gen 5.
I think it is very fun. I think Gen 6 is a lot of fun. Gen 6 is my go-to game to just go back and like if I picked up my 3DS off the shelf right over there, I'd probably play X and Y. Just because like it's fun to be able to just go through the game and like it's got really good replay value as well because there's so many Pokemon to catch. Same with Black and White too, but I like that you can just go through and basically every time encounter something brand new every single time you do it.
For example, the story itself is emotionally compelling, actually.
Second best story in the series, I think, behind only Black and White. Second best story in the franchise, in my opinion.
For the most part, the backstory for the king and his beloved Pokemon is great. Actually, kind of heartfelt.
It is.
Sacrifice
Completely agree.
Pokemon to bring him back to life.
I feel like a lot of people clown on X and Y's story, but I honestly am with Mike on this one. I think X and Y is, like I said, second best story in the franchise. I got very emotionally invested into it. It's really cool to see like the flashbacks of everything as AZ talks to you and everything. It's very interesting, and I like that it gave some world building without needing to be like, hey, here's the god of destruction here to like destroy the world kind of thing, even though like that is still kind of what happened a little bit with Yveltal, but still yeah, I like that they used lore. They used something that happened in the past to like build the lore of the region without it being just like this Pokemon created the world and they had 1,000 arms and shaped the universe kind of thing. Like, we don't need that. Going back to his statement about Arceus, I kind of agree with that.
Only for the Pokemon to be repulsed by the carnage in his name and left. However, a larger group of friends that your character interacts with is kind of annoying.
It's very
Especially
annoying.
That fat bastard likes to dance a lot. The Kalos region is good.
Why are you hating on Tier? No, my dude, I'm just kidding. I don't like him either.
Based on France this time around. Kalos is definitely closer to what one would expect from a Pokemon region. A decent swath of locations and settings.
There is like a huge variety again, but I guess like in my mind, well, actually no, they actually feel, I would say that Gen 6 feels more connected than Gen 4 does. And that might be a hot take, but I think it is.
That being said, I heavily dislike Lumio City, however.
It's such a pain in the... Look at this map, dude. Like, try to make heads or tails of this map. Like, it's so stupid. Like, I'm all for big open areas. Maybe dial it back a little bit. I think Castelia City and, what's the big one in Gen 7? Is it Hau'oli is the big one? I can't remember. I think those are, like, as big as a Pokemon City needs to be.
Way too large and hard to navigate and get to where you want to go. The open world design beginning to
Although you can take a taxi cab or a go-go ride, so I guess there's that.
rear its ugly head. The new Pokemon introduced are slightly better than Gen 5, but
I don't agree with that. I think a lot of the Gen 6 mods are kind of trash.
it's a bit of a mixed bag.
See my X and Y tier list? I did with V1, the only Jert YT as well, if you're interested.
I like Fennekin, Taylor.
I agree. I agree. Fennekin? Wait, Taylor's a Gen 3 mod. Mike! What? Do you mean Fletchling? Do you mean Fletchling, my dude? That aside, I love Fennekin and I love the Froakie line. They're both great.
Skiddo, Pandoro.
Skiddo's okay. I like Go-Go more. Pangoro and Pancham are cute and cool.
Sylveon and
Sylveon's phenomenal. I think Sylveon's one of the better evolutions. It's probably in my top 3.
Bergmite. I don't.
But you cannot say Bergmite. You cannot say Bergmite. Bergmite? My dude. Oh, God. Bergmite. I don't like Bergmite and Avalugg. I'll just throw that out there. And I think most people would agree with that statement, that, like, there's a lot of mons in Gen 5 that are much better than Bergmite.
Care much about the rest, and I personally hate Chespin,
I don't hate Chespin. I hate Quilladin. Quilladin's ugly as hell.
just for design alone. But the 3D sprites are implemented
It does give me a very Sonic vibe, though, so I get that.
well, with some exception, like Typhlosion.
What they do to my boy. Bring back my fire. I think they actually did give him that in Gen 9, thankfully.
Infamously. The other big deal of this game is the Mega Evolutions.
Which
From
I
here on out, All
love.
Pokemon games add a new evolution or move type to be unique. All are ass sans the Mega Evolutions.
Terrestrialization is so fun! I hate Gigantamaxing and Z-Crystals or whatever, but I love Terrestrializing and I love Mega Evolution.
I like how all you have to do is find the stone that makes a certain Pokemon Mega Evolve. And most of the time, the Mega Evolution looked badass.
It does.
Like, look at Blastoise.
They gave it like another cannon.
Cannon. All in all,
It's
X
so
and Y
good.
is a solid experience. My only regret is that we never got Pokemon Z.
True.
Right now we have Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire.
Pokemon Z would have been great. I wish they would have done it, because like a lot of the development that Gen 6 kind of needed kind of got shafted into Sun and Moon because of that, and it's a very unfortunate circumstance.
It's Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, but remade in 3D. And boy, is it fun.
It is fun.
In fact, it's probably my favorite 3D Pokemon game ever.
Oh my God!
This was
I don't know if I agree. Favorite 3D... Actually, you know what? I might give it to you. I might end up agreeing, actually. Maybe Sun and Moon? Nah, I think Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, probably. I'm agree with that statement, Chief. I agree with that. I think Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire is also my favorite 3D game.
actually my first adventure into Hoenn, as I played this after Soul Silver, and it answered all my original complaints about Johto. That being that there are a bunch of new Pokemans from the beginning, not just post-game.
It is neat.
Basically, take all my praise from Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, and apply it to a 3D world.
I do like that. It became kind of a thing in later regions where, like, the new Pokemon were harder to find. Like in Sword and Shield or like in Sun and Moon. The new Pokemon are difficult to find. Like, I spent like a half hour playing Sun and Moon because I wanted to get a Kommo-o for my team, trying to just find a Jangmo-o. I spent like a half hour in Sword and Shield trying to get an Applin for my team because I wanted to use an Appleton. And, like, I don't like that. I like when they just are like, here's all our new Pokemon. You're welcome. Go ahead and use them now. Because I'm someone, whenever I play a new Pokemon game, I only use Pokemon that are from that new generation. So, like, when I played through Gen 7, I didn't use any Pokemon from Gens 1 through 6. When I played through Gen 8, I only used Pokemon from Gen 8. I didn't use Pokemon from Gens 1 through 7. That's just the way I like to do it. So I don't like that they make the Pokemon that are new more difficult to find. I like it when they're just like, here you go. Here's all the new stuff. Have fun with it. I think that's a way better way of doing it.
Plus Mega Evolutions, minor quality of life features, and probably the thing that cements it as the #1 free game is the...
I just want to say real quick, so many good Megas in Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. Phenomenal. Metagross, Salamence. Again, Pokemon that didn't need it, but awesome. Mega Rayquaza is one of the coolest Pokemon of all time. Again, didn't really need a Mega, but it got one. It's so cool. There's so many good Megas.
Delta episode postgame.
Such a good post-game. Easily top 3, if not top 2. The only one that probably comes better is Gen 2's post-game. But I think top 3 is probably Heart Gold, Still Silver, Black and White 2, Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. Maybe not in that order, but I think a combination of those 3 is a top 3.
Yes, sir. Instead of making it an exclusive event, in the post-game you can catch Rayquaza, even though you can't get him in the original Ruby.
And Deoxys. And Deoxys as well.
Sapphire, and even battle and capture Deoxys. There's some damn good lore in here. I think
It's really
this game
good.
confirms that X and Y and ORAS take place in a different timeline,
Mhm.
with one having the Kalos War and Megas and one that doesn't.
True. Yeah, that's a very prevalent Pokemon theory. So yeah, I'm pretty sure you're right on the money with that one, dude. Plus, like, it's just so fun. The Delta episode's so good. Zinnia is such a phenomenal character. She's so fun and interesting. She's one of the best battle themes in the franchise. The music in Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby is so good. Like, Zinnia's theme, Wally's theme, the Team Aqua, Team Magma battle themes, they're all so good.
Even the name of the remake has a meaning. Now, let's go back for a second. In the first remake, we have Fire, Red, and Leaf, Green.
Yep.
Fire and Leaf represent, destruction and creation. Heart Gold
Picking up
and
what
Soul
you're putting
Silver,
down?
I'm not so sure. Maybe Ho-Oh
At least he's
represents Heart
honest.
and Lugia Soul?
At least he's
I
honest.
don't know. Tell me in the comments, please, because I have no idea. But
I have no
ORAS
idea either.
has the best implementation of the remake name.
It is
In
really
Omega
cool.
Ruby, Maxie wants to push the Earth to its final land-covered barren state, its Omega state, if you will.
It's really
And
fun.
Archie wants to revert the planet
All the way back.
to its prehistoric water-covered state, its Alpha state.
It's really
Now,
cool
the reason why
nomenclature.
this game is not in the top tier is one, it's not a remake of Emerald, and two, nothing against ORAS, but Ruby Sapphire Emerald is just so good.
It
on its
is.
own.
I love Oris, but it is.
Like, it's nothing against the remake, just that the original are just that good.
They really are.
But all in all, this is a fantastic game. Like, if you have to play any 3D Pokemon game, play this one. Now for something
You will have a good
completely
time.
different, and very much so. We have Sun and Moon,
Dude.
Gen 7. Now,
Sun and Moon, I think, is the most fun I had playing a Pokemon game with friends. I honestly believe that.
Sun and Moon, for those of you who don't know, this takes place in the Alola region, which is a bunch of tropical islands,
Hawaii.
like a vacation spot almost. And the Pokemon themselves reflect that. Like, there are a lot of new, colorful little creatures in this one.
It is a very colorful region, which I really like. There's a lot of super colorful Pokemon, a bunch of very pretty locations. I like the Alola region overall.
And Sun and Moon is actually the last game I need to play in order to catch up to the modern day Pokemon games. So how did I like it? I liked it fine.
Yeah.
Really, all my gripes are...
I might swap X and Y in Sun and Moon personally, but I don't hate that position. I think it's good. It's a good game.
mostly like nitpicks and preferences, except for the unskippable cutscenes and dialogue.
There is like a reason that like the beginning of Sun and Moon's called Tutorial Island, because like it takes forever to get through. And like there's no skipping cutscenes, it's just like you mashing A through dialogue for like a solid couple hours, and it's kind of boring, but after that the game really does pick up.
Unfortunately, this will be a nasty problem from here on out.
True.
It's not that the cutscenes are so long, it's that you always have to keep pressing A to keep them going. So you can't put down the 3DS and do something else. You actually have to move the stuff along, and I don't like that. And to be honest, I more prefer a more basic region, like in the first 4 games. But Alola,
I get that, but I think Alola does it well. It really is like, it gives you the perfect vibe of like a tropical island resort. Like, it's so colorful and warm and inviting with all sorts of cool exotic locations. Like, I think I can get where you're coming from, but at the same time, I think Alola is probably one of the regions that is truest to the form of the area it's based on. I think it's really well done.
Alola is pretty cool, and I respect the general vibe of it. I like that when you leave the house in the beginning, you can almost feel like the ocean wind as you're right along the beach.
It's such a nice
This
touch.
game is as open world as I'd prefer, despite it being mostly routes and towns. The camera angle is lower, so it feels different, and I think that's cool. And they redo the whole
Hadn't
gym
thought of
thing
that.
too. You have to fight the kahuna of each of the 4 islands. And there are totem Pokemon.
I feel like he was
Like,
reading that off like a piece of paper. The kahuna of each of the 4 islands. There's also like the trial captains and stuff too.
I really do dig the changes to the formula.
I did too. I think it was definitely needed. It was a nice change of pace.
The story is alright, cutscenes aside. In fact, without
It's
that,
okay.
I'd probably be more into the story. The conflict between Lily and her mother is intriguing.
It is. It is. The conflict between the entire Ether family is very, very good. With Luciamine, Gladion, and Lily. It's great. It's really, really well done. Really well written, surprisingly, for a Pokemon game. And, like, it feels very real.
They really get the feeling of the relationship realistic, I think, between mother and daughter.
I agree.
I don't, however, care for the legendaries, the Tapus, and the Ultras, what have you.
Okay, this is coming from somebody who has Poipole as their mascot. Poipole aside, I think I'm gonna agree, because I like a lot of the Ultra Beasts in concept, Because alien Pokemon, that sounds kind of hype. Like Pokemon from different dimensions, that's pretty cool. But at the same time, like, a lot of them are kind of a bit too outlandish. Like Xurkitree, for example, is a bit much for me. Same with like Guzzlord. I think the ones that I like are the ones that realistically look more like Pokemon, like a Nihilego, like a Poipole, like a Naganadel, like a Kartana. That's about it, actually. And the Tapus are kind of whatever for me. I like using them. I don't think they're anything too amazing for the most part, but they're cool in theory. I like the Light Trio, though. I think the Solgaleo, Lunala, and Necrozma are pretty cool.
I feel like their designs are too zany, but that's just me. What I do like are the new Pokemon.
There are so many good
Starters
ones.
are great.
Starters are excellent. All three of them are phenomenal. Like, I am someone who hates fighting Incineroar, but I can concede I've grown to like Incineroar more and more and more as I've used it more. And Primarina and Decidueye are just excellent.
We have, got a little kitty cat. The other Pokemon are cool too. We have Toucan Sam.
It is just Toucan Sam, but it kind of works.
Donald Trump.
Oh my god. No, that one's not Donald Trump. It's Gumshoes that's Donald Trump. Come on, Mike.
Donkey.
I don't like Mudbray.
Mr. Burns.
Mr. Burns, like the Simpsons character? I'm not gonna lie, I don't see it.
Beta Sim Salamander.
Okay.
Monkey. Mimikyu.
I love Mimikyu, my king. Mimikyu's amazing.
And the thing from Never Ending Story.
Falcor! Falcor the dragon, or you could say Elliot from Pete's Dragon.
And of course, an Anchor. There are some dumb designs
And of course, an Anchor. I like Delmise. It's not that bad.
here though. Like, why is there a Sandcastle Pokemon?
No! It's so cool! It's like it. Oh, come on, man. I love Sandygast and Palossand. Mainly just because I like ghost types, but still. It's so cool. It's like a sandcastle creature. That's so fun. It really is. It's like a good beach Pokemon. I love this Pokemon so much. Oh, that makes me sad that you don't like this.
That's stupid as shit.
No!
This one technically came from Pokemon Go, but I hate Meltant and I
I agree with this statement.
especially hate Melmetal.
I agree with this statement 100%. I don't like them either.
I hate what they stand for in regards to the hoops you have to jump through just
Yep.
to get this fast.
So stupid.
To end on a good
So
note,
stupid.
though, I really like the Alolan versions of
There's so many good ones. Yeah, like, I love Alolan Raichu. I love Alolan Marowak. Alolan Executor is hilarious. I love... Alolan Vulpix is literally back on my shelf for a reason. I love that Pokemon to pieces. I spoke highly of Alolan Muk. Alolan Ninetales is great. There's so many good Alolan forms. I don't really care for, like, Persian, Meowth, the Geodude line, all them, the Rattata line, but all the other ones are great.
some of the older Pokemon. I'm glad that these games are making alt versions of Pokemon depending on the region.
It's cool.
Story time again.
Convergent
I
Evolution.
remember when these games first came out. In fact, once again, I was in college, but this was before I really got into Pokemon. Joe, Kai, and our other good friend, Connor of Mixed Mechanics, all got the game first night. It was out.
We did. We did. I remember this. I remember this.
And they were all on the couch playing. It was Friday night, so I had to go to bed early because I...
Oh my god, dude, this is taking me back. Holy crap. Dude, this really takes me back. Wow. Jeez. I feel old now. Oh god, I love... I like, again, like I was saying, Sun and Moon is the most fun I had playing a Pokemon game with friends. Like, 1000%.
to volunteer the next morning. When I got up, all but Joe were passed the fuck out, and Joe put on these goofy ass sunglasses for staring at the screen for hours. It was quite the comical scene. But that
Oh,
concludes
God.
my thoughts for Sun and Moon. And like I mentioned before,
College, baby!
Ultra Sun and Moon, but I'll get there.
College, baby!
Promise.
Ba, 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 ba.
Let's finish off Gen 7 with Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. I think
Is Let's Go Pikachu Eevee part of Gen 7? I guess technically it is. But then again, it's a new generation, though. It's the first game on the Switch, so maybe it should go more into Gen 8. I don't know. I don't know.
this is the first gen to transcend consoles.
It is.
It's pretty cool. But, alright, here's the thing. I have a wicked bias for this game, so please, just hear me out.
I know.
As I said before,
He
I
loves
played
this
Fire
game.
Red Leaf Green.
He loves
I
this
nearly
game.
finished it, but lost interest like a goon. Time goes on, and we get a Switch. And on the way back from a funeral, I believe, my then girlfriend, now fiance, we making an impromptu stop at a
Now fiance, now wife, actually, to be exact.
GameStop. and get Let's Go Eevee because her brother was playing it at the time, and that's what started her interest.
Oh,
For the rest
okay.
of the drive, she was playing the game and she fell in love with it. I
Aw.
love the cute Eevee that you can pet,
Yeah.
praise, and such throughout the game.
Or the Pikachu, like the one I named Ryan Reynolds, because that was when Detective Pikachu came out. Yeah, I did that. I pet Ryan Reynolds, and it was wonderful.
It was very cute. I would then borrow the game from her and finally beat Kanto. This game reminded me why I got into Pokemon.
Aw,
Creature,
that's
the
sweet.
events, the music, the presentation, and sometimes the story. And so I got right back on the Pokemon train. Now hold on, I'm willing to take off my rose-colored glasses and discuss the flaws of Let's Go. This is a fancy redo of Pokemon Yellow,
Mhm.
with more focus on style than the game, I think.
And also
There's
the
actually no
ability to use the Eevee as well. Like he got his wish from all the way back in Pokemon Yellow. You can play with the Eevee.
battling wild Pokemon. You can only catch them in a similar style to
Pokemon Go.
Doesn't matter though because the game is very easy. Your starter,
It
Pikachu
is.
or Eevee, is OP as fuck. But it is a
Yep.
gorgeous game. The orchestral music is epic and wonderful.
Music
and
is
the
good.
graphics look well made. Unlike every
I actually really like. Is this a hot take? I might be about to take a hot take. I think that Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee is the best looking game on the Switch. Pokemon game on the Switch. I should not best looking game. Xenoblade 2 and 3 are on that console. No. But best looking Pokemon game on the Switch, I think, is Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. Kanto looks vibrant, colorful, and gorgeous. Plain and simple.
future Pokemon unfortunately released from here. In a way, this is kind of like baby's first Pokemon game.
It is.
Very easy, but gets you in. It sucks.
And there's also the rumors of, I'm kind of dating this video a little bit, but Let's Go Wooper and Let's Go Togepi, which, if that becomes a thing, it might introduce a bunch of new people into Pokemon. Like, I'm looking forward to just sitting on the couch with my nephew and letting him hold a Joy-Con, being like, all right, 1, 2, 3, and then we both whip it at the same time to catch, like, an Apom or something.
Feedback into the franchise, so clearly it worked. The only issue was, because the game was so easy, that when I got into Soul Silver, I got my ass kicked.
Yeah.
I'd say this is a game you play once, especially if you love Pikachu and Eevee. The ability to pet them and dress them up and treat them like a pet
It's cute.
is insanely wholesome.
It's cute.
Also, I believe this is the first in-game appearance of Leaf, right? But, you know,
Yeah, he's right.
all that being said, I'm going to rank Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee.
Or, no, not Green, not Leaf, Green. It's the first in-game appearance of Green, because Leaf is the protagonist of Leaf Green. Green, this is the first appearance of Green in a Pokemon game.
Also,
I'm surprised he didn't put it in great tier, because I know how much he loves this game. I'm honestly surprised. That's probably... I know... I hate on Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee because I think it's funny. But I truthfully believe that they are like Mike said, it's a Pokemon game you play once and you have a good time while doing it. Yes, it's very easy, so you're probably not going to want to play it immediately afterwards. And the limited amount of Pokemon only being from Gen 1 is kind of whatever. But at the same time, like, it's still a fun adventure. Gen 1 has never looked better. The graphics are gorgeous, vibrant, colorful. It's fun to use the partner Pikachu or partner Eevee. That aspect of it is really fun. And I think I think the not being able to fight wild Pokemon is a bit annoying, and doing like the Pokemon Go mechanics and all that. But I think this game isn't as bad as I clown on it to be. So I think I'd probably put this a little bit lower. Definitely not above Gen 5. But I can concede that it is not as bad of a game as I clown on it for.
so I believe you can also get the Alola versions of the Gen 1 Pokemon.
You can.
and there's
Because you can trade for them at the Pokemon centers.
Mega Evolutions.
They are.
That is also cool. Alright, hope I didn't lose
excuse me.
any viewers watching that. Because if you didn't like where I put Let's Go Eevee,
Now, on the other hand, Mike, I know what game is next, and this is where you're going to really lose me. Like, Gen 5, you already kind of had me there, I'm not going to lie. This is where it's really going to happen.
you're not going to like where I put the next few games. Here we have Pokemon Sword and Shield. This is the
I just want to say, right off the bat before Mike places this game, this is my least favorite game, probably my least favorite game in the Pokemon franchise, because it is the purest idea of untapped potential, of missed potential. I cannot think of a better way to exemplify missed potential in this game. So with that being said, we'll get to that once Mike places it though.
first game I played as it came out. and all throughout its life cycle. It is the first game I really played with my friends, trading and raiding and stuff.
That aspect of it, I can definitely see why it'd be positive for somebody. That I didn't really do a lot of that when Sword and Shield comes out. Sword and Shield came out at a weird time for me because I had just moved up to Michigan from Florida, so I wasn't really able to connect with my friends as often as I wanted to anymore, especially because a lot of them were kind of doing their own things down there and getting together with friends like in like a similar location. It was just me being on Wi-Fi like, hey guys, I'm here too. But so I can definitely, because like that's Sun and Moon for me. That's why I rate Sun and Moon a little bit higher than maybe most people do, is because it was the first game that I really got into playing with friends. Like I wasn't playing competitively as much, that was mainly X and Y, but like just hanging out with my friends all together playing through the game, like team checking, like, hey, I'm at the 5th gym, what's your team, or 5th trial, what's your team looking like, and like sending pictures back and forth being like, oh, I added a Mimikyu to my team, this is what I'm using, like that kind of thing. That was so fun to me. So I can definitely see like why he enjoys that aspect of Sword and Shield, like doing the raids, doing playthroughs together, all that, for sure.
Such. Hence my little bias with it.
That being said,
Oh my God!
absolutely not. Absolutely not. I can fully concede that this game isn't awful, but it is so very bland. It's just so unbelievably bland to me. The story is awful. The evil team is awful. Both of them, actually, quote unquote. Your rival is terrible. The only fun rival, like your main rival is awful. Bede and Marnie are fine, but Hop is just awful. Leon is so unbelievably annoying. None of the towns outside of like 2 are really exciting, although Ballenly is one of the most gorgeous locations in the Pokemon franchise, and I will stand by that statement. Ballenly is bloody gorgeous. But outside of that, there's also not really a lot that like ties into the culture of a region around Great Britain. Like, I guess in Winchester there's the London Eye, we get a Ferris wheel. That's about it. Like, there's so much more that could have been done, and they just didn't. And again, this is another region that's just a big old circle. So it doesn't feel very well connected. It's just like, here's your water area, here's your ice area, this is your desert. All right, go have fun. It doesn't make a lot of sense thematically. Whereas like Gen 5, Gen 6, and other games that have come before it kind of did hit on that pretty well. So I just hate a lot of the new Pokemon. I really do. There's so many new Pokemon I do not like. Oh my, I hate the legendaries, all of them. Eternatus, I guess, is cool, but Zacian and Zamazenta, I can't stand them. The Galar forms are okay, I guess. I don't really like Meowth. Weezing's kind of cool. I'm probably forgetting other ones. God, there's so many Pokemon I do not like. The starters are all so mid-tier. Like, dude, this game has so many flaws for me.
Now, I know the game is...
I'll be here all day, sorry.
Objectively nothing special.
It's not.
But goddamn, did I sink a lot of time into it.
And I can understand that. Because, like, again, like I said, for me, that's X and Y. That's Sun and Moon. I honestly think I have more time in X and Y than I do in Pokemon Black and White and Pokemon Black and White 2 combined. Because of the amount of times I've restarted doing, like, different Nuzlockes, or, like, trying the game with a new team, or playing through it with one of my friends in, like, a Soul Link, or just, like, vibing on the couch with a couple of them. So I can completely understand that. But, like, at the same time...
Yes, sir. Now we are in the Galar region, which is like...
I think it's my least favorite region. I really do. I know a lot of people don't like Paldea. I know a lot of people don't like Unova. I know a lot of people don't like Kalos. I really don't like Galar.
Great Britain. And I've always wanted to go to Britain.
Same,
Have some tea,
actually.
crumpets, meet Doctor Who and Harry Potter,
Mike, I hate you.
and ride a big-ass train to London. So, more bias. Great. This region is diverse for me, though. I especially like Stow-on-Side, Spikemuth.
Which one was Stow-on-Side? I can't remember which one that was. Spikemuth, I found so bland. It's just a hallway. It's just a hallway. Like, it's just like a... It's not even... You can't even explore. It's just a little hallway. Like, a little horizontal hallway. It's like a 2D platformer. Like, oh god, Spikemuth, don't even get me started on that game. Oh my god, that whole section of the game is so stupid! Because Marnie just happens to know a random back entrance. because of course she does. And then Pierce just sings and no words come out. And then the Leon stuff afterwards where you're supposed to help him and then he just saves the day without your help at all. Oh my god, what were they thinking?
And Ballon,
Most beautiful game in any, most beautiful location in any 3D Pokemon game, and I stand by that.
Ballon, however the hell you say that.
It's beautiful.
I found the wild area to be the most open world I'm willing to accept in a Pokemon game.
It's so empty and boring, there's nothing to do. There's nothing to do. There is literally nothing to do in the wild area. Like, cool, raid dens. Neat. I can't wait to do this with a freaking guy with a Magikarp and a Lunatone, because I don't have Wi-Fi connection. Oh my god, I hate the Wi-Fi. It's so boring. There's nothing there. And you can't even catch, like, a bunch of the Pokemon until late game, because you need certain badges to catch them. It's such missed potential. The wild area could have been so cool. It's even hard to link up with friends in the wild area. It's so unbelievably annoying to do that.
I especially love the raids. It's a good way to level
Raids are fun with friends, otherwise they're not fun.
up and team up with your boys. Starters are alright.
I think they're pretty meh at best.
I hate, absolutely hate Raboot's design with every
Yeah, I'm gonna agree.
fiber of my being. Reminds me of that weird kid from school that always wears windbreaker pants and sandals, always be stiff and boogers, greasy as hell. I realize that description is very specific,
Every high school have one of those. If you know, you know.
and I might be projecting, so I digress. I like the first evolution of the monkey.
I
like the
hate it.
color scheme.
Color scheme I like. Design, I hate it.
Very popping. But Sobble, it's my guy.
I love Sobble, but man, they did this Pokemon dirty.
It's my boy. And his evolution is quite the story. First, he's a little crybaby kid.
True.
And he's an edgy emo.
I hate Josiah with a burning passion. I despise everything about it. It is awful.
Alt kid. Like it's not a phase, mom. Don't come to
I got your picture. I'm coming with you, dear Maria. Count me in.
school tomorrow, looking ass. And then his final Evo, he looks like Squidward. In fact,
Oh, I guess it's pretty skinny like Squidward. I guess it is pretty skinny like Squidward.
his Dynamax form.
It gets a
makes-
gun.
It makes some sense for how I described him earlier. I'm just gonna leave it at that. But we got some decent new Pokemon
He's
this time around.
freaking strapped.
Peter Griffin Squirrel,
I hate Greedent with a burning passion. It's so ugly.
Apple,
I like Applin and I like Appleton. Don't really like Flapple.
Corgi,
Yamper's okay. Bolton's okay.
Dreadnought,
I like Dreadnought somewhat. Chew's my girlfriend's favorite Pokemon.
Eldegoss,
I like Eldegoss more after playing Radical Red because I've used it and it was good.
Wooloo,
Wooloo's goated, like everybody knows it.
Bukaki,
Okay, didn't need to hear that. I don't like Alcremie.
and my boy Snom.
Snom is goated. Like everybody loves this thing. There's a reason why it's a meme. Everybody loves Snom. Everybody loves Frostmoth. They're great.
I should also mention that I started to play the card game during this generation,
I'm so sorry to hear that, Mike.
so some of those guys helped me out there. The legendary dogs are decent.
I hate them. I think they're so stupid. I hate both of them so much. They're awful.
I mean, at least I can tell that they're dogs and not whatever.
I hate
I
them
can
both.
take or leave the Dynamax thing. I think the whole
Dynamax is my least favorite battle mechanic we ever gotten. For me, it goes Dynamax, Z Crystals, Terrestrialization, Mega Evolution. In that order.
alt form is stupid.
It's so
Sword
dumb.
and Shield did something different for the post game. Instead of an enhanced game like Pokemon Gun or Pokemon,
Hey, what if Pokemon Gun? What if instead of like giving you a post game that you can do, what if we give you a really boring one that lasts like maybe an hour that's just more tedious than anything of you traveling between like 2 locations, and then we make you pay $30 for the rest of it? How's that sound to you?
Pokemon Crossbow or something. You got
Pokemon
2
Crossbow?
DLCs that bring back older Pokemon and chances to catch every legendary Pokemon from Gen 1 onward.
I like that they brought the old Pokemon back, and I kind of wish they didn't have to do the whole Dexit thing, but it kind of seems like it needed to be the case, maybe. But at the same time, like, I never bought the DLC for this game. I still haven't even bought the Scarlet and Violet DLC. I don't even know if I will. Because, like, I don't really care. I don't really care about paying $30 for a post game that I'm going to beat in, like, 2 hours and then never play it again. So,
This, however, leads to a big issue I have with the Switch games, and you guys might know what I'm talking about. Dexit. you can
Yep,
access
there it
the
is.
full Pokédex.
There it
from
is.
on out. So there are gonna be some Pokemon chilling.
I get why, but I also don't, because I'm pretty sure they had the code for each of the Pokemon in the games anyway, which is pretty stupid.
In Pokemon Home because there is no game compatible with them. Now, I know we
AKA the highest grossing media franchise of all time wants more of your money.
broke 1K Pokemon in Scarlet and Violet.
1017, I believe, to be exact. It might even be higher than that now.
There's got to be a way for coding to allow them all to exist, like the models, you know?
You'd think so, buddy.
But that being said, I still had a ton of fun with this game. And
I'm
this
happy
is
for you, I
reflected in
didn't.
The amount of time I spent in
I'm pretty sure I have more time in this game than you do, and I hate this game. Shout out to you for beating the Pokedex, though, for collecting them all. Good stuff, my dude. Good stuff. Very good stuff indeed.
this game. But all that being said, I cannot deny I really had a lot of fun with this game.
I'm happy for you,
It
buddy.
just dawned upon me that I screwed up Crystal's placement. Now, never mind that. We're on to Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. Gen 4 remake. Now, did it improve things from the original Gen 4?
Yes.
I'd say so.
Okay, putting this above Gen 5 is a crime. This is the worst remake of a Pokemon game we've ever gotten. Yes, it improved on original Gen 4 because it's faster, but everything else is worse. The art style, like, it was so buggy and glitchy and almost unplayable at launch. You could beat the game in 2 minutes. It was like OG Gen 1. And, like, it's just so... It's such a by-the-numbers remake. It didn't do a Fire Red Leaf Green. It didn't do a Heart Gold Soul Silver. It didn't do an Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire and take the game and enhance it. They were like, what if Gen 4, but Switch now? And, like, that's not a remake. That's a remaster at that point. Like, at that point, Nintendo Game Freak, don't call it a Gen 4 remake. Call it a Gen 4 remaster. Because all you did was take the base game and we're like, here you go. It looks remarkably better, I guess, in some areas, and honestly worse in others. And the chibi art style is going to be very 50-50 among fans. And we're also going to, like, make it so it's just a lot more not user-friendly as well. Like, and it's also going to be a complete buggy mess, and you can beat it in 2 minutes using fishing rods. It's super fun.
It is slightly faster than the original Diamond and Pearl.
Only
And
slightly.
the chibi art style is cute, I think. I like it.
I don't like it.
I can't really say much is different past the style and the underground. Oh, yeah.
I like what they did the underground. I like the underground. It's fun. It's fun being able to, like, catch Pokemon down there, do all sorts of cool stuff with friends. I like that.
So, there's an underground tunnel network thing that you can access whenever.
It's pretty fun.
And you can dig in the wall and get stones, fossils, various items and shit.
It was fun in Gen 4 original, so it's going to be fun now. And they just made it better, honestly.
You can also go into these room things and find Pokemon related to the type
It's
of room it is.
so cool. It's super fun,
So if you
especially
look
with
at your
friends.
Grassy room, you get grass Pokemon. I spent most of my time in this game actually doing that.
It's super
You can
fun.
catch every
1000%.
regular Pokemon from Gen 1 to Gen 4. It's all the good ones, am I right, guys? Post game will actually let you catch all of the legendary Pokemon from Gen 1 to 3, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, that's
And
cool. I
like
did that.
This game's life, and even Sword and Shield, I did not miss an event. So it got me a Shaman and an Arceus legit, and all those other.
My god,
motherfuckers.
my dog.
My
I
opinion
didn't.
on the idea of time limit.
I still haven't even finished my my Brilliant Diamond playthrough. I'm like on the 5th gym, I want to say, and then I was doing the shiny only playthrough, and then just stopped doing it. I'll bring that back eventually.
Limited event still stands. I know some people were let down that there's not much more to this game than the original game, which
It's not a remake. It's a remaster.
I can understand. Don't get me wrong. I also don't get the naming. It's just like an additional adjective to
Yep.
the original game.
1000%.
It's like there's no deeper meaning. Like, what is there a deeper meaning to Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl?
Doesn't seem like it.
To me, I think that's a wasted opportunity. I would have named them Temporal Diamond and Spatial Pearl.
That'd be
But,
perfect.
I mean, other than that, it's a
Yo, Nintendo, hire this man.
decent game. If you play Gen 4, probably gonna like that. Speaking of Sinnoh, we have Pokemon Legends Arceus. Now, look, I'm trying to get into this game. I really I respect
It's
it's
too
a
open
whole
world.
new deal.
It's too open world.
All
I get it.
mechanics are different, but
It's
honestly,
too different,
it's
too
not
open
playable.
world. I get it.
Maybe it's just a lacking processing power of the Switch. Maybe the controls are just not what I like. I don't know. I do like how the new Pokemon are ancient versions of the older Pokemon, which is
Yeah, it's neat. It's neat. Like there's Hisuian Gudra, Wordier, Hisuian Braviary is really cool. A lot of cool Pokemon.
nice detail.
All the stars are really dope.
I really respect that it's doing something new. But I'm having a hard time playing it. I'm having a hard time
The way I see it is Pokemon Breath of the Wild. I love Breath of the Wild, so obviously I'm gonna like this game. It's Pokemon plus that.
getting into it. So, forgive me. I'm sorry.
Wow.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's probably most people's favorite Pokemon game on the Switch. So that is a hot take, my dude.
I mean, maybe if it was Legends like Rayquaza.
Valid.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Scarlet and Violet, Gen 9.
All right, I know how he feels about this one.
Oh boy.
I disagree. I disagree. I think Scarlet and Violet are better Sword and Shield. Granted, I think Sword and Shield are pretty mediocre, but I think Scarlet and Violet are better Sword and Shield. The open world concept in theory is pretty neat. In execution, it's a little bit flawed. I can agree with that. I think the story is really fun. I think the story is really engaging. I love the three friends. Nemona's great, Arven's great, Penny's great. All three phenomenal characters. Team Star is awesome. The Titan battles and seeing Mabosstiff get better are great. And even the gym leaders have like a good amount of personality in their gym quests and in their post battle snapshots you guys take. The Area Zero is really cool. The Paradox Mons are super interesting, like Pokemon from an alternate timeline where like it's a past form or a future form. That's super cool. But this game definitely does have its flaws, and I can easily admit that.
This game was almost on the other side.
Wow.
Of Blue, but I'm a
That might be a hot take.
merciful god. I don't-
Merciful God.
honestly, I don't care much for this game.
Oh, that makes me
I keep
sad.
mentioning how I don't like open world Pokemon in this game.
I like open world games, so
One, the Switch just does not have that power. Like it did for Breath of the Wild, but for some reason not here.
that's just Game Freak, dude. Like truthfully, like Breath of the Wild is like just phenomenal. Like it's entirely Game Freak. Like the Switch does have the processing power. Like look at something like Xenoblade 3. Look at something like Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, Mario Odyssey. Those games are freaking gorgeous. Without like no other way to put it, they're gorgeous. Like absolutely stunning. It's just Game Freak does not know how to optimize on the Switch. For some reason, they've regressed when it comes to optimizing it. Like Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee are breathtaking. Maybe that might be a bit far. Are very, very pretty games. Very colorful, very bright, very welcoming, and very well done aesthetically. But then it's kind of gone down, like it went downhill again with Sword and Shield, and then a little bit back up with Legends Arceus, and then back down again for Scarlet and Violet. I don't know what they're doing. It might just be their time crunch because they're trying to make a Pokemon game like every couple years or so. But even then, like, take the extra time you need. Like, I'm pretty sure you can thrive off the profits from your previous game's DLC for a little bit longer, as well as all your hundreds of spin-off games and stuff. Like, come on, man. Just take the time you need to optimize it.
2, it looks like hell on handheld.
It does.
And 3, the world itself is a bitch and a half to navigate.
I don't agree with... I agree with that until you get the Koraidon abilities. So I get they wanted to make the world easier to traverse as you leveled up throughout the game and became like stronger and stuff, but at the same time, like, it just becomes frustrating early game because you can't run very fast, you can't jump very high, you can't glide, you can't swim, so it kind of also limits the Pokemon you're able to get starting out too, which is a bit frustrating. But as you get more Herba Mystica and you slowly get Koraidon's powers back, it becomes a lot more open and fun to traverse. But starting out is very frustrating. I do agree with that.
Especially in the early game when your riding dude doesn't have that many moving abilities. The unskippable dialogue is annoying as all hell to get past.
He ain't wrong.
I don't care one bit what these characters are saying.
Oh, that makes me sad because I really like Nemona, Arven, and Penny.
I'm currently, at this time, hate playing through this game as I speak. I just want to beat Gen 8 so I can say I beat all the gens and then head back to Ultra, maybe Arceus if you're lucky.
If you're lucky.
Things I like. I like some of the new guys. Lechonk,
Everybody likes Lechonk, man. Pokemon's such a good meme.
and, well, there's another kitty cat starter.
Yay! My king! My goat! It's oh, you can see it's right there! Literally one of my new favorite Pokemon of all time. I love Sprigatito, my child.
That unfortunately turns into a furry bipedal.
I like Meowscarada, I'm sorry.
Alright, but you know, alright.
I'm the problem!
The story of Arvin, or whatever his name is compelling, I guess. Like,
I really enjoy it. Like that, there is a video on this channel that is specifically called Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Made Me Cry. Because the beginning where, like, Mabosstiff opens his eyes and, like, you get the sad music in the background, that got to me. As somebody who loves animals and, like, this franchise in general, seeing, like, a pet or a creature that you are attached to, whether it only be through a small amount of getting to know it, seeing it get better over time after previously not being able to do things it once could be able to do, it's just very heartwarming, especially for a lover of animals. So that really spoke to me. So that it did get the tear ducts rolling.
I feel bad for his big old dog.
Mabosstiff.
He's trying to get his old sick dog to get better. He got injured while battling, I think.
Yes,
I
correct.
tried to rush through all those Titan bastards just so the dog could live.
Yes, it made there was like a TikTok I saw where like somebody was like, all right, we're gonna get the gym badges, and then like they did the first Titan battle and they're like, all right, we're saving the dog.
I feel like if you grew up with a dog and watch them get old and go to doggy heaven,
Yeah,
you can kind of relate to Arvin's scenario.
1000%, my
I
dude.
do like that you can auto battle wild Pokemon.
It's
Saves
nice.
time.
It's a cool feature.
Once again, your Pokemon can
Saves time.
follow behind you, which is cool. I like that.
Not as good as Heart Gold and Soul Silver because they kind of lag behind, but still, the touch that they added it is nice.
I dig the raids coming back. I like raids.
Terra raids are very fun. I did enjoy doing those a lot. I've enjoyed doing them on stream before. I've enjoyed doing them with friends. It's fun.
But overall, I don't think this is a well-made game at all.
I can agree.
And I'm quite disappointed that Nintendo, with all their money and income, can make a game this shit and call it a day.
It's
I mentioned
pretty.
before, Red and Blue,
I like it more than Sword and Shield. I can agree that it is poorly optimized. 1000%.
they were the first. They should be the worst game because they had all these years to improve, and they did. Just for them to make this, I think it's a waste. I think it's shameful.
It's sad. It is.
Honest to God.
Because, like, you know they can do better. Like, look at stuff that they've done in the past with, like, Gen 5, Gen 6, Gen 7. Like, not everybody loved them, but they were still very solid games. And then, like, Gen 8 and Gen 9 are easily, I think, the most divisive games in the franchise. I know a lot of people don't like Gen 5 because of the Pokemon designs, whatever. But I feel like Gen 8 and Gen 9 are the most divisive games in the franchise. You either really like them or you really hate them. And I fall somewhere into the kind of like category for Scarlet and Violet, and pretty much kind of really don't like it for Sword and Shield. So it's kind of a sad thing that as these games have continued to be developed, they become more divisive over time, and I feel like it should be the opposite.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is my tier list for Pokemon games. Overall, I am really glad I got into the franchise of Pokemon. This series
Hell
has
yeah.
taken good care of me, and I had a ton of fun playing it.
Hell yeah.
These games I consider to be my favorite of all time.
Let's
Big ups
go.
to Joe for letting me borrow most of this stuff.
That's my king.
Shout out to 8-Bit Hall of Fame for...
Oh my god, 8-Bit Hall of Fame! Dude! Oh my god, that is such a throwback! Holy crap, dude. What a throwback. Oh my god, that's like a gaming store near where we went to school. I'm pretty sure one of the first Pokemon tournaments I ever entered was a tournament that was put on by them. It was like a double battle Pokemon tournament, like VGC style, and I won a $50 gift certificate that I never used and it expired.
selling me some of them too, as well as my kick-ass 2DS.
Yeah.
Pokeball. My only sad thoughts are that there's no accessible way to play these older games.
It's so annoying. I really wish they would release it on like the Switch like apps and everything, like the GBA app, the Game Boy app, like all of those. So many new people would subscribe to that service, to like the Switch Online service, if it meant they could play Fire Red, Leaf Green, Emerald, Ruby, Sapphire, Gold, Silver, Crystal. Like, so many people bought this on Virtual Console for like $5. I have them on my 3DS right now. I have Yellow, I have Blue, I have Silver, Gold, Crystal, all of them, because I was so excited to be able to play those again, by legit methods on the go. So many people would love to do that if they brought them back for the Switch. It would make them so much money that I don't understand why they don't do it.
The 3DS marketplace is offline for good. So if
Sadly.
you want to buy Gen 7 and older in physical form, you're fucked.
Basically.
I beg you, Nintendo, please give these games ports on the Switch.
I wish, man.
Like, come on.
I wish.
Pokemon is one of your top earners in your business.
It is. I think it's the highest grossing media franchise of all time.
Now, I don't really know how you run business over in Japan, but you really want profit, not just revenue. You want profit.
It's all about the
Because I
cheddar.
don't think
It's all about the
arguing the same
gabagool, the
these
cheddar.
games should be that hard. Now, please allow us to give you money to play them. It's not like Nintendo is being greedy here. They're either being stupid or complete asshole cocksucker bastards.
Dang, really coming
Yeah.
for the throat.
Shit on Xbox all you like. Please do. But they give you the opportunity to play their flagship games
That's
whenever
true.
and however.
That is true.
But as of now, Nintendo is not making any money on Red and Blue to the Ultra games. So Gens 1 to 7, they're not making money.
They could be
Unless
making.
you want to pay top dollar,
No.
the only choice is to emulate them. Emulation is not a hard thing to do if you have a decent PC or laptop. Emulation is not illegal. Piracy is, so I can't condone it. So how you get the ROMs to emulate them is between you and God. Don't let me know how you do it.
Shout out to
I don't
Vim's
support
Lair.
Piracy. I'm just saying Nintendo isn't actively making money on those games.
They
They
could
won't
too.
get hurt if you emulate them. That's all.
They could too, which is like the stupid thing. Like they could. So many people would sign up for Switch Online if they just added games like these to the service.
I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. And emulation 2 is a mixed bag.
Yeah,
You have to
valid.
play the controller because the keyboard and mouse feels.
It feels awful.
Feels
It feels awful.
I
Whoop.
would highly recommend though checking out Pokemon MMO. It's Gens 1 to 5, but with
My bad on
25
that one, guys.
graphics.
Sorry.
And it's an MMO. It's quite cool and quite well made. Other than that, maybe get an R4 card, but I don't know how to do that, so there might be some risk.
Yeah, I don't even
Never
know what that
mind.
is.
All in all,
Just gonna be honest.
this is a damn good series of games.
Yes,
I
it
wish
is.
I had gotten to them sooner. But that's all I have to say for you today. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your time, and I hope I entertained you. Until then, I'm Dr. Dank, signing out.
All right, so that is Mike's tier list. I surprisingly agreed with more of this than I thought I would. It kind of like seemed to me that the further he got into the list, the less I agreed with it. Up and through Gen 4, I kind of was on board with pretty much everything he was spitting. But afterwards, we have some differing opinions about the later games, which is fine. Differing of opinions is important. His opinions are his, my opinions are mine, and that's what makes the world go round. Yeah, I'm with you 1000%, dude. They would make so much money just by porting these games to the Switch. And I think it's just because, like, they either don't care or just want to leave the previous games in the past. I don't know. I don't really know what the reason is, but it's pretty stupid, if you ask me. But that's Mike's tier list. Let me know what you guys think of his tier list in the comment section below. Like I said, the link to his channel will be in the description. Make sure you go check him out. My dude makes really cool content, not just about Pokemon, but also about very other franchises. We'll have cool PC gaming content, Star Wars content, Batman games. There's so much cool stuff on his channel. Make sure you check him out. I highly recommend it. Let him know I sent you. I'm sure he would appreciate that. But that is basically all I've got for you today. Like I said, let me know what you think of Mike's tier list in the comment section down below. If you did enjoy this reactionary video, leave a like on that and subscribe if you're new around here. I really appreciate that. We're on our way to 300 subs. That's my goal for the year. So I'd appreciate if you could help me get there. That's basically all I got for you guys today, though. So until next time, I will catch you all in the next video. But till then, peace.